Good evening, everybody. I'm welcoming you to our board meeting, and I call this board meeting to order on November 14th, 2024 at 6:02. The first thing on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm very honored to have my former student, Fiona, who will lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, you may be seated. So I am very excited that the Amador High School Choir is here, and they are going to be singing the national anthem for us. Thank you so very much. We all need some joy in our life, and that was very joyful. Thank you. That was awesome. Okay, we are now moving on to introductions. Can we start with Numarta?
Yes. Good evening. Numarta Graywell, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources.
Good evening. Ahmed Sheikh-Islami, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services.
Good evening. Philippe Dimitrieff, Student Board Member.
Good evening, Steve Maher, Trustee.
Good evening, Kelly McCaughey, Trustee.
Hi, good evening. Justin Brown, Trustee, and serving as Vice President this year.
Mary Jo Carrion, serving as President, and Trustee Walker's ill this evening.
Dr. Maurice Geisels, Interim Superintendent.
Lenita Villasenor, Executive Assistant to Dr. Geisels.
Patrick Gannon, Director of Communication.
Okay, moving on to closed session. We had one report out. On closed session item 11A, the board voted 4-0 with the motion made by Trustee McCaughey and seconded by Trustee Maher to approve a compromise and release agreement for internal case SCD 110-2425 for the amount not to exceed $1,000. Okay, moving on to a board agenda. Do we have a motion to approve? Trustee Dimitrieff?
Yes.
I'll second.
All in favor? Just, sorry, I think we needed a second. Okay. Oh, she's second, okay. Okay, the motion passes. Okay, board question and answer. The board has a chance to read through the board packet and ask questions ahead of time so that we can move through the agenda quickly. You can find the staff question and answers on the district website. Okay, we move on to recognition, Student Character Awards, Compassion.
Good evening. My name is Janet Gase. I'm the Director of Student Services for Pleasanton. Thank you, Dr. Geisels, and good evening, President Carrion, Board of Trustees, Cabinet members, staff, and community. It is that time again to recognize and celebrate our well-deserving students for the Community of Character Traits Awards. I want to make sure to thank the parents, guardians, and siblings, and any other family members who have joined us tonight in support of our awardees. Throughout the year, we celebrate students during the board meeting who demonstrate one of the 6 identified Pleasanton Community of Character traits. These traits include compassion, honesty, respect, responsibility, integrity, and self-discipline. This evening, we are recognizing students who were nominated by school staff for demonstrating the character trait of compassion. We want to thank our students for their hard work at school and their outstanding character. Tonight, award winners are being recognized from Fairlands Elementary, Hearst Elementary, Pleasanton Middle School, Village High School, and Middle College. I also want to make sure to thank our teachers and staff who took time out of their busy schedules to nominate their students. Before I hand it off to our student board member, Trustee Philippe Dmitriev from Amador Valley High School, who will read the nominations of our students, I want to remind students, when Trustee Dmitriev reads your name, please come to the front to be acknowledged, and you will be handed your award. We will have you stay up here until the end so that a group picture can be taken with all of our recipients and board members. Trustee Dmitriev.
Thank you, Ms. Gates, and good evening, students and parents. When I call your name, please come up while I read the nomination. So to begin with, our very first school, we would like to recognize our student from Fairlands. We have Miles Boris, 2nd grade. Miles was nominated by Mariah Kuhn and Katie Matson, and I'll read a little comment left by the teacher. Miles demonstrates the character trait compassion each day in his 2nd grade class. Miles is always helpful and considerate to his classmates and teachers. He looks out for others and always helps those in need. Miles exemplifies compassion to others, and Mrs. Matz and Mrs. Kuhn. His teachers are so proud of him. Congratulations, Miles. Now for our next school, we would like to recognize 4 students from Hearst. Our first student is Kira Lee, 3rd grade. Kira was nominated by Jennifer Fraser. Kira is an amazing monarch. She shows compassion in the classroom setting every day. Kira is often the first student to jump in if a classmate needs help. She shows kindness to her classmates. She helps visiting teachers with respect and follows the monarch way. Kira shows compassion and forgiveness to others who have made mistakes. Congratulations, Kira. Next, we have Declan Villegas, 3rd grade. Declan was nominated by Jennifer Fraser. Declan is deserving of the Compassion Award. He's a wonderful friend to all of his classmates. He will jump up to help anyone in need. He's kind to others and he's kind to the environment, enjoying his time in the Hearst Garden. Declan shows compassion to all of his classmates. He's a wonderful monarch. Congratulations, Declan. After that, we have David Reich, 4th grade. David was nominated by Brenna Polanco. David is a wonderful example of compassion. For example, a student told the class that he wanted a water bottle like everyone else has, and David told him he would get one and bring it in for him. David also started a campaign to build a Gaga ball court. He wanted to make sure everyone would be able to use it, so he filled out a grant application for a handicap accessible gate for it. Congratulations, David. Lastly, for Hearst, we have Nathaniel Cho, 5th grade. Nathaniel was nominated by Emily Newton. When he was in 4th grade, Nathaniel joined the Hearst Student Council because he wanted to make sure that all students felt cared about and that they were part of a community. For our school newspaper, he wrote articles about acts of kindness and recess reminders, which had tips for making sure everyone has fun. Nathaniel is a positive, kind, empathetic, and a great teammate to all. Congratulations, Nathaniel. Next, at the middle school level, we would like to recognize 3 students from Pleasanton Middle School. First up, we have Cecilia Weber, 7th grade. Cecilia was nominated by Melissa Kondrick. Cecilia's actions are how you can tell she cares for others. She will open a door for someone, pick up a piece of trash in the walkway, or draw a picture for someone just to make them smile. And she will do it without desiring recognition. She is welcoming when working with students in group work and is always willing to support everyone. I appreciate having her in my classroom. Congratulations, Cecilia. Now we have Eli Ford, 7th grade. Eli was nominated by Pearl Wu. Eli comes to class prepared with a positive attitude. He's an honest and respectful student who perseveres through class assignments and gets along with everyone. Eli sees the best in his classmates, and he has an inner strength that allows him to show compassion to others. Congratulations, Eli. Lastly, for Pleasanton Middle, we have Kilani Lopez, 7th grade. Kilani was nominated by Pearl Wu. Kilani's positive attitude, coupled with her flexibility and care for others, gives her the Compassion Award here at Pleasanton Unified School District. Kilani continues to support classmates with a sincere and compassionate mindset. I am proud to have her as my student. Congratulations, Kilani. Next, for this evening, we would like to recognize 1 student from Village High School. Unfortunately, I don't believe they're attending, but we have Madison Smitherman, grade 11. And I'll just read the comment his teacher left. Madison shows compassion by being a supportive and caring friend. Time and time again, Madison has demonstrated her quality citizenship, concern for others, and empathy that shows how much she cares about her peers, other people, and her education. Madison is a caring and empathetic observer. She is gentle and thoughtful with each person she meets and interacts with. Congratulations, Madison. Lastly, for this evening, we would like to recognize 3 students from Middle College. And so first from Middle College, we have Natasha So, grade 11. Natasha was nominated by Sergio Verbis. Natasha works well with her peers to make sure everyone understands what is going on before moving forward. She's always kind and friendly to her peers and teachers. Congratulations, Natasha. Next, for Middle College, we have Marwa Beg, grade 12. Marwa is nominated by Denise Gauthier. Marwa's peers always commend her as the most helpful and kind student in their group. I often see her offering to help support other students as well. She's a pleasure to have in class. Congratulations, Marwa. And finally, for our last student, we have Xintian Lao, grade 12. Xintian was nominated by Kelly Mogilevsky. Xintian is such a friendly and kind student. She makes an effort to always connect with her peers and make those around her feel incredibly comfortable. Congratulations, Xintian. At this time, I'd like to give it back to Ms. Gates.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Dmitriev. Great job introducing our Character Award winners for compassion. And students, thank you again for joining us tonight. Congratulations and keep up the great work. Teachers and staff, thank you again for your nominations. We appreciate the time you took to do the write-ups. And students, you're staying up here, so we'll clap for them. And parents, please come on up. You can take pictures up front. Come on up. All right, and you have to keep smiling, everyone. Now you know how they feel with the paparazzi. All right, one more hand for our student winners. And a reminder, you don't have to stay for the whole meeting unless you want to. You guys can go. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Good job. Thanks. We have one more. One more from I hope they're here. I didn't get to check them in. They're just we have a community member. I don't know if we're here. Yeah, but yeah, just. I think we're okay. I know. He moved all those doors. And everybody, if you guys can head down, there's a great white wall right out the bottom. Awesome. Should I just go? She's outside. She's right out that door if you want to go.
Okay, we are moving on to number 2, donations from Kids Bike Lane.
So again, I'm Student Services Director Janet Gates, and tonight I'm speaking on behalf of school social worker Elise Greenaway. Tonight, we want to recognize a local partner that has made a huge difference in the lives of our students. And Kathy and Don Dorego, if you want to come on up front. You want to hold your award? And I'm going to read about you. You get to stay and just take it all in. So for years, Kathy and Don Dorego of Kids Bike Lane have been connecting our PUSD students with free bikes to remove transportation barriers for students. When our school social workers are supporting a student who needs transportation and doesn't have the financial means to purchase a bike themselves, they reach out to Kids Bike Lane. If Kathy and Don have a bike that fits the needs of the student, they graciously respond by delivering the bike to their school or home at rapid speed. Not only do they provide bikes, but they are quick to come and repair bikes that families already own so that they can continue using the bike to get to and from school. Kathy and Don have been incredible at connecting with the families we send their way and truly meeting students where they are, and we are so grateful for their partnership. Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you very much for your service. There's so many kids that are benefiting from this, and I just want to say thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
We're so grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we are moving on to student representatives, Foothill High School.
Is it on? Is it on? Is it on now? Okay, cool. Good evening. It's good to be back. To start off on academics, Foothill had a chili cook-off, the first one that occurred. Our culinary class put on a little chili cook-off, I think, last week, and they were out and about. They were serving chili to I tried some. Some was sweet. Some needed salt, but it was the first of its kind, so it was pretty cool. My English teacher was so moved by Mr. Georges bringing chili to class tomorrow, so we get to try some of his, which I think is fun. Last time I was here, I talked about access and how we're switching to flexi-schedule. So far, my access has been pretty chill. It's been easy. Not too many problems, so flexi-schedule was definitely the right move. Footo held a mock election. On the same day, we had election day, so that was the 5th last week. I'm still waiting on those results, but that was the first of its kind as well at Footo, as far as Mr. Bull can recount. So I thought that was pretty cool. Gave like little spiels on the propositions and had some candidates' names up on there. And so Footo's preparing for their semester finals in academics after Thanksgiving break. Moving to activities, last time I was here, I talked about how spirit was like a very big focus on our campus for my leadership class. We've seen it go down a little bit, but we're hoping to revamp it with some spirit days next week for Thanksgiving week. One of the days is dressed as your teacher day. I'm kind of excited about that because I get to like put on a beard and dress like Mr. George. Model UN took a trip to SoCal to compete, and DECA hosted MiniCon at Footo. It's basically like I'm trying to remember what she told me. It's like a little convention, but for all the like local schools to like host their ideas, and there was some competitions. So I was told that was fun. I'm not in DECA though. Athletics signing day was yesterday. I saw, I believe it was eight of my fellow seniors sign for sports, which I'm really proud of. I've watched most of these guys. I've known them since elementary school, and now I got to stand by them while they were signing to the school. So I thought that was pretty cool. And there was like free like lollipops too that came with it. Boys water polo played in the semifinals. Unfortunately, they are out, but had a good run this year. One of the seniors on water polo also signed yesterday. His name is Quinn Hoffman. Really cool kid. Football finished 4-6. We were out of alts. We had like 25 players left because like there were injuries and sickness, which was unfortunate, but morale was strong. And then for the other stuff, the fire alarm at our school has gone off 13 times since I think I saw you guys last. It's a good thing because our system's sensitive and very active, so that's obviously a good sign. But it's gone off 13 times. It's disrupted, I think, every period, including lunch and access, but 5th period. I don't think I've had to evacuate during 5th. Mr. Bull is trying to revamp the student store at Footo, and that's going to be something new, something interesting. And he's working with our leadership class to revamp the student store, which is, I was in there for a little bit. It was kind of cool to how I never went into that store, and I went into it for the first time in 4 years. The lunches, I've gotten some, I've asked some people, and last month was not the best, but this month is apparently really good. Like there's turkey nachos. I don't know if you guys tried it. Turkey nachos is pretty good. And then the orange chicken is always really good. So lunch is good. And then I am starting my own little environmental project that unfortunately Trustee Walker is not here, but I talked to Trustee Walker about it, and she loves the idea. But my environmental project is supposed to help Amador as well as Foothill. I'm trying to boost some eco-friendly practices on campus. I have a internship with Supervisor Hobart, so it's part of a project with the supervisor. And then last thing, I talked to one person before this, and she said bring up the D building bathroom, how it's closed. It's closed to the tier people who might want to not do some great things in the bathroom, but people do it anyway, and they find another bathroom to use, so they close off a bathroom and then they go off to another bathroom. But that's it. That's pretty much my little update. Any questions?
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
I have a question, Aiden. For the Model UN, you said they mentioned to SoCal.
Yeah.
Is the whole like chaperone thing resolved now
Yeah.
at Foothill?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was. Today we had a ASB meeting. In the FCMM we approved like a little thing. And I'm pretty sure the chaperone thing was resolved because they did make it there. I would have to follow up though. I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Trustee Dimitrov.
Trustee McCaughey?
Yeah, I was curious a little bit more about the environmental project or your internship with Supervisor Halbert. What is your internship about?
Well, my internship, I'm serving the entire year until, I believe, May, and I have a project that the supervisor has tasked me with, and it's to implement eco-friendly practices and stuff like environmentally friendly stuff in my community, and I chose Foothill and Amador. I'm sure Trustee Dimitrov can attest to Amador's lack of trees and shade, and I was talking to Trustee Walker about it, and she said it's a great idea that we get some trees planted in there instead of like plastic shading. We have natural shading, so that's what I'm trying to do on Amador's campus. On Foothill's campus, I'm trying to have like trash bins, compost, recycling, and trash, and have them like planted in the ground instead of like, because I see a bunch of kids just toss their food waste into the recycling bin, and everything just gets tossed in the trash, so it's not really any use to have the recycling bin. So that's a little bit about the internship, and I would love to talk about it more, but I think I have to keep it.
Well, what a
sweet and
great
short.
opportunity.
Of
Thank you
course.
for sharing.
Yeah.
If you need help at Amador, you just talk to me.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Any other questions? Trustee Brown?
Yeah, I mean, following up on the intern, how did you find out about that internship? Out of curiosity.
I emailed the intern director, and I was like I didn't even know there was an opening, and I was like, hey, do you have any openings? And there was a session, there was like an application, and there was a session going on, and I didn't even look at the at his website, but I interviewed twice, got in, and it's pretty cool. I was able to campaign for a couple of the supervisors endorsees, and I did some phone banking, I went door-to-door canvassing, so it's a cool experience. So yeah.
Okay, great. And the other question I had was, you mentioned you did a mock election on the day of the actual election.
Yes, sir.
What were people voting for? Were they real candidates? Were they the same national candidate? Like, what was?
Well, yes, sir. So there was it was all the ballots that were sent to Pleasanton voters. We got it as well, but
Okay.
not like ballot style.
Okay, last question. I know that this year, two of the counties actually allowed students to vote, 17-year-olds. I think 17-year-olds to vote. I think it was the first year they did that. Is that something that you would advocate for?
I
For
mean,
Alameda County?
I would love to vote myself. Pretty sure there's an amendment not allowing me to until I'm 18. So I get to vote in the next midterms, which is fun.
Oh.
But no, we did not participate, or we held like a voter registration day, or voter registration rally
Yeah.
at Foothill. I don't know if you heard about that, but Mayor Carla Brown was there, and I believe her opponent.
I was there.
You were there. So there was a rally, right? And I don't think many people. I know one person in my class was able to vote, but we didn't. It was just a mock election. The school gets its result, and it's going to be sent out.
Yeah, I think in the case, the example I was using, the two counties, I think it's just school board elections. They're allowing 17-year-olds to vote in. It doesn't include Alameda County, but maybe it's something you can talk to Supervisor Halbert when he's less busy, and you have his ear. So anyway, great report, and thank you very much.
Of course.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Of course. And then I did want to mention one last thing. I know, Trustee Mayor, you're leaving after, I think you've been serving since 2016, right? You've been serving since 2016, or?
How long have you been?
2016? Yeah. So I want to say thank you, and I appreciate it. I've seen you on my parents' ballot a couple of times, and I know you do good work, so next time I'm here, I believe you're going to be gone. So I appreciate everything you do. And that's my little
Oh, that's so
presentation.
sweet. Thank you.
Portion.
So
of course.
sweet.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, now we have our Association of Pleasanton Teachers, Evan Branning. You get to follow that one.
They never make it easy for me. There we go. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Evan Branning, and I am your APT president. I just want to start today, first of all, by congratulating the candidates in the excellent race for school board. Congratulations to Trustee McCaughey, Trustee Carrion, and likely future Trustee Jones, although that race is still very close. So congratulations on winning your races. It was well fought. I encourage the candidates who didn't make it through to stay engaged. I know that everyone is very much engaged with our school sites, and I have seen far too often candidates disappear afterwards, so I am begging them to, continue on, be engaged, contribute, and stay part of the community and stay part of our schools. We need all the help we can get. I also want to thank Trustee Maher for the years of service. I haven't known Trustee Maher as well as maybe I could have, but since being elected as president of the union, I've had a few chances to sit down for coffee and tea, really discuss, or I should say coffee and hot chocolate, and discuss issues at the school board, life, family, everything, and it's been quite enjoyable getting to know you. I hope that we can continue to meet even after you've left the dais. I think your insight will be very helpful for continuing the conversations as our schools carry on. So thank you for all you do. Thank you for your years of service. I know how difficult it is to stand up on the dais. It is a number of hard choices, so I appreciate what you've done. Thank you. Today, most of what I wanted to focus on is really just how amazing our teachers and all of our staff really is. The members of APT really do go above and beyond. I'm very grateful to be the president of such a fabulous union of so many employees who are willing to give their own time, their effort, their evenings, their weekends to make sure that all of our students have the most amazing experience possible. We know and we're very familiar with the normal activities the teachers do. They go to the dances, they supervise the sports, they are the leaders of the clubs, they are helping students find internships, they're leading all the projects that students do. But I wanted to highlight a few other just above and beyond items that teachers are doing at this time of year. So we had recently the PPIE Gala, and APT and teachers joined together and attended the gala to support our wonderful PPIE that gives so much to our community. We also have our teachers right now, particularly at the middle and high schools, are doing observations. They're using their prep time to go to other classes to see what is happening so that they can improve their craft. They're giving up their own personal time to do this and are really getting the experience needed to make sure they are the best teachers they possibly can be. I want to give a special shout out to one teacher at Amador Valley High School. They're opening up their play this weekend. And I want to say shout out to Miss Davies, who I'm told has been staying every day until 8 o'clock most nights to make sure that this play is the most amazing it can possibly be. We have many teachers who are giving up time such as that, staying after school, really working to make sure that these programs are successful. And much of that time is volunteered by our teachers. We have our elementary teachers at this time who are working incredible hours, making sure that they are prepared for their report cards, their conferences, meeting with parents, meeting with families, letting them know how their students can be all that they can be in their classes. These are just a few examples of some of the great things our teachers are doing out there. There's so much more going on, from Foothill starting up a beekeeping club to programs at the middle school and elementaries that are really keeping students engaged and active. I'm grateful for all the work our teachers do, and as we enter the holiday season and as we look to the end of this calendar year, I just want to say, I'm grateful to our teachers, I'm grateful to our staff, all of the members of APT, all of our counselors, nurses, psychologists. I'm going to miss people if I keep trying to list everyone, so I'll stop there. But there's so much staff that is helping our students every day and is giving so much of themselves. And I'm thankful also to CSEA for all they do to support our teachers and to make sure that we are able to do all we can. And I look forward to, as we continue our conversations through this year, of just remembering that while this job is one where we do get a lot of great rewards, we see a lot of people, we hear a lot of thanks. It is also a challenging job where teachers really give all of themselves to the profession, and they give all they can to make sure that all of Pleasanton students get what they deserve, which is the best education and the best services. Thank you.
Evan, do you know when the play is? Do you know the date?
I believe it opens this weekend.
Okay.
Today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Laura Martinez for CSEA.
So good evening, Superintendent Deisel, President Carrion, members of the Board of Trustees, Cabinet, colleagues, and community members. I also want to echo the sentiments of congratulations to Trustee Makashi, Carrion, and the new trustee that will be joining the board soon. So as president and fellow classified employee, I have the responsibility and honor of being the voice for our classified staff. It is a privilege to represent the dedicated individuals who bring our schools to life every day. Tonight, I want to acknowledge the remarkable work of all of our classified staff and our partnership with certificated staff, whose tireless commitment enhances every student's educational experience. Tonight, I am also honored to recognize a truly remarkable individual and our retiring trustee, Mr. Steve Maher, whose dedication to Pleasanton students and schools has spanned over 4 decades. His 8 years on the board have been a significant chapter, but his impact goes far beyond that. As president of Classified Employee, I've had the privilege of getting to know him, not just as a trustee, but as a person. I have deeply valued his insight and appreciation, his advice during our conversations. He has always listened with genuine care, understanding the importance of classified staff and the work that we do for our students and schools. Beyond his role as a trustee, it's his lifelong commitment to students that truly stands out. His motto has always been simple and powerful: students come first. When I first moved to Pleasanton over 20 years ago, he had a stellar reputation, especially for his leadership as a principal at Hart Middle School. Known as Pleasanton's longest-serving principal, he has taught and led in more schools than anyone else in the district's history. He's worn many hats, shaping young minds as a teacher, coaching girls varsity basketball at Foothill High School, and uplifting our community with his service. Through it all, he's never lost sight of what mattered most: the well-being and growth of every student. So tonight we celebrate not only our devoted coach, teacher, principal, and trustee, but a tireless advocate for our students. Thank you for always putting them at the center of your work and for leading with heart, passion, and clear vision. The Pleasanton School District and community are stronger because of the service you gave. And while you may be stepping down from the board, I have no doubt that your contributions to our community are far from over. Your passion and dedication will continue to make their mark in Pleasanton, inspiring future generations just as you've done for so many years. I'm wishing you a joyful and well-deserved retirement, filled with new adventures and as many winning moments as you've given to others. Thank you, Mr. Maher. The legacy you leave behind is truly immeasurable and speaks for itself. With that spirit of leadership in mind, I now turn to my message for tonight. We recently reached the end of our Superintendent Budget Advisory Committee work. Recommendations will be made to the board, which compels me to remind the board and our leadership of our collective goal as we look ahead to the difficult work before us, which is to keep the cuts further from our students. Our district has always enjoyed a reputation for excellence, thanks to no small part of our committed certificated and classified staff. These dedicated individuals have worked tirelessly to build a community and an environment where students thrive, and many of the district's accomplishments rest on their shoulders. Fracturing the unity could impact the achievements we have built together, and we must handle these decisions with care. While the options offered will be complex, some aren't viable, some require negotiation with labor unions, and some could have significant impact, which all require careful examination. And I encourage the board not to simply focus on cuts, but to explore every possibility and every way to protect staff positions, accelerate efforts to bring in new revenue sources that can alleviate pressures on our budget, and find ways to transform without compromising our core values. As we move forward, transparency, integrity, and care must guide every decision. The consequences of these decisions will deeply impact many in our community, and we must never lose sight of the individuals whose lives and livelihoods are on the line. It is essential that we act with compassion, recognizing the human cost behind the numbers, and remain committed to making choices that reflect our values and care for one another. Let us continue to approach this work with a steadfast commitment to compassionate, student-centered leadership, always prioritizing the well-being of our students and the community we serve. Together, with our community, we can seek solutions that preserve our values and protect essential services. In every decision we make, let us remember that our choices have a profound impact, and we must lead with empathy, integrity, and a deep sense of responsibility to those we serve. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you. And thank you for that nice tribute to Steve. Okay, we move on to the superintendent's, public comments from the community. Sorry. Due to the Brown Act, we cannot, I'll give these back. We cannot act or discuss issues not on the posted agenda. The board members may briefly respond to statements or ask a question for clarification, make a brief report. But basically, I want you to know that we are listening. So we have, I think, 4 speakers.
Yes, and we'll start with Prithvi Kanturi. Come on down.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Prithvi Kanturi. I live on, can you guys hear me? Okay. I live on Northway Street. I wanted to talk about the school extension that is being done for iPal and STEAM. There has been some traffic studies that have been done, and one of the gentlemen from the city has come and discussed the impact. I have some of my neighbors along with me that we feel that there's tremendous work, I think, that is being done to, help kids that are differently abled so that they get, a better opportunity to learn more. But the area where this extension is being done might have more traffic impact. And I'm right across the school where I every day see there are certain, if there's more traffic being put on that road, there's a risk for kids who are crossing the road. And also, it's going to be more heavy traffic for all the residents on that road. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention before any considerations are being done. That's it.
Thank you.
All right, next is Ted Didziak. Ted will be followed by Joe Carlucci.
Okay, thank you for hearing me tonight. My name's Ted Didziak. I live at 5143 Northway Road. To give you a better idea of where my family lives, my home is directly across from the entrance to Harvest Park, which is next to the entrance of the preschool, which is next to the service entrance used by trucks and 18-wheelers making daily deliveries, and the trash trucks picking up from the dumpsters and trash cans that are staged on the sidewalks. So basically, I see everything. Okay, I live right across the street. I don't miss a beat if I'm looking. When we moved here in 1989, We clearly knew about the two schools, Harvest Park and Walnut Grove. Our kids went there. They graduated, went to Amador. Then in the 90s, the classrooms at Harvest Park got a remodel, which is when the portables appeared to serve as temporary classrooms while they were being remodeled. I was told that the portables were temporary. Boy, did I misjudge that statement. All right. Then the preschool appeared with the play structure. Then finally we were told of a plan to expand the preschool and also accommodate STEAM students. We never thought that 4 schools would be facing our home with the associated everyday traffic, which is chaotic like a Monty Python skit. The current traffic situation really puts the students in an unsafe position. I wish I could show you a couple of the videos that I took yesterday and today to illustrate what I just said. We have documented all our concerns and given them to Aaron, the project manager. I hope he has shared them with you. They're quite a list. I'm not in favor of the plans to expand the preschool and request that you consider other locations more appropriate for the traffic that they will create and the other impacts to the surrounding neighborhood. Please do not do anything to further increase the current traffic issues on Northway. Both Harvest Park and Walnut Grove are affected, and the loss of green space in our neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.
Joe Carlucci, followed by Steve Belleville.
Good evening, Superintendent and School Board. Thank you for the time to speak and for your service to our city. I, too, am here to voice my concern about the proposed plan. One of my favorite parts of my job is doing process improvement. And one of the things I've learned is that the best conclusion is not always the easiest or most obvious. And I went to the meeting at Walnut Grove, and I completely understand the need for space for the kids. And just like Ted, I've been on Northway for 27 years. I knew what I was getting into moving into that area. However, at that meeting, it felt to me that the plan to build on that current site was picked because it was the easiest. The building's already there, and the playground is there. But there was really no answer to our concerns about the traffic and the safety other than we need to educate the parents and teachers better, which to me was not a great answer. Another part of productive process improvement is recognizing that the outcome does not only affect the one but many people. And the effects on the neighborhood around Harvest Park and Walnut Grove, which is already impacted and will grow more chaotic and dangerous for kids and adults by adding more cars. The city has financial issues, but we heard that to build this new building that will only serve, in the end, 24 more kids will be north of $6 million. And then what do you do when this new addition is maxed out and then you need more space? I'd like to think there are better options, and my one suggestion is, as Ted said, consider an already established building, a facility that is unoccupied somewhere in Pleasanton. Even if you had to recreate the playground, it would still be cheaper than building the new building. You can plan for growth, and it'll minimize the traffic dangers around Harvest Park. I ask you to please reconsider the proposed plan. Thanks for your consideration.
Thank you for your comments.
Hello, I'm Steve Belleville, and my family and I have lived here in Pleasanton for 21 years. I would like to again share some concerns, some perspective and information with the school district regarding the planned STEAM and IPAL preschool campus expansion at Harvest Park. First, let me say up front and share with all of you that we absolutely recognize and appreciate the teachers and staff at the IPAL preschool for the great work they do. It is truly appreciated. Thank you. A number of the fellow neighbors have spoken tonight regarding traffic and safety concerns. This expansion of the preschool at Harvest Park Middle School will bring potentially 80 more cars into the area with the vision for the number of students that may be added to the combined campus of IPAL Preschool and the STEAM Preschool. Well, let me just note that both Northway Road and Harvest Road are very narrow neighborhood streets. Trying to bring more cars into this very congested area for morning drop-off and afternoon pickup is adding to an already extremely congested traffic situation. The other item I wanted to note is that the preschool expansion plan also calls for enlarging the teacher parking lot and reducing the size of the green field that is at the corner of Valley and Northway Road. That field is used by preseason baseball, t-ball, softball, flag football teams. It is also used by the Harvest Park Ultimate Frisbee team, as well as school civics class events. And further to that, there's also a Sunday adult volleyball group which uses that green field. Green space in Pleasanton for events and sporting activities is in high demand. We request that the district consider looking at a different location. Alternate locations should be considered for the preschool expansion. With a estimated cost of $9 million to add the preschool classrooms at Harvest Park and enlarge and retrofit the teacher parking lot off of Northway Road, I submit that it would be incrementally more cost-effective to build the new preschool classrooms at Alisal Elementary and incorporate it into the already approved $31 million budget for the rebuilding of Alisal Elementary School. Now, I just wanted to have a show of hands for the neighbors that are with us here today. Neighbors, raise your hands. A number of us wanted to be here. Not everybody wanted to take time to speak. We do thank you for your time. I just wanted to make sure that they were recognized as well, and I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Finally, Charlie Jones.
Hello. Oh, there we go. Let's try that again. Hello, my name is Charlie Jones, and I will be speaking tonight as the Social Studies Department Chair at Tennyson High School. And for my high school that I teach at, I wanted to give from us a heartfelt thank you to Pleasanton Unified, Amador Valley, and Foothills We the People teams, because we've never done this before. This is a brand new program that we're implementing at my site, and we're the first ones to try rolling it out in our district. And both teams from Amador and Foothill came to our Performing Arts Center as part of their program to speak with our students and show them this is how it works, how it functions. It was a really great collaboration between your district and our district to really get our students excited in being a part of this program and seeing the great things that it can do. They showed part of the PBS feature that both Amador and Foothill are featured in as well. And then I also wanted to thank the teacher coaches from your school sites for this, because they were part of a panel as well as a couple of your students that were answering the questions that were being asked from both parents, students, and other teachers in the audience. So altogether, it was a really great experience. Our center is brand new, so it was the first time my students have been able to go into it as well. And what I also really appreciated was we talked about compassion tonight, and your students, our students, demonstrated that as well, because they offered to help support and work with our students who are doing this for the first time as both mentors and supporting them on, well, how do you actually set up your introductions? How do you do these types of questions? And so I just wanted to say thank you, because it really does show how great this district is and our students, and the fact that we do work together. And there's a lot that can be done when we collaborate. Thank you.
I would just have a request for staff. Due to the comments, I'd like you to let us know how many students have left Harvest Park due to declining enrollment. How many students are we anticipated with the proposal? And I'd like to see the report that was referenced that Aaron got from the parents. If you could just give us that information this weekend would be great. Thank you. Okay, we are now moving on to Superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Carrion. Our Financial Challenge Roadshow continues. I want to thank the many families, our staff members who've joined in the sessions which we've had. We've conducted nearly 40 sessions with family and staff, and we have 3 next week at Harvest Park, Vintage Hills, and Leidixon. If you visit our website, you will see now that Patrick has put all of the things that we have written on one page. It is the front page of the website, and it's a pop-up too. And we came up with our first movie that launched this week, and it is explaining it in great detail, simple detail, the same 5 points that started with President Carry-On's letter. And it's pretty good worldwide, and the cost was great too because it was done all in-house. And I also think it's worth seeing that website page because we have come up with the why we're in this situation in 5 different languages, all voiceover. So we'll continue to communicate as best we can. I want to thank the parents who have helped us do that. I think the most important thing about these sessions in the roadshow is at the end, and you can see it in our website. There is a QR code and a URL to go straight to input and ask questions, and that's very important for us because we have well over 150 inputs right now. We're going to keep that open until Thursday night at midnight. At that time, we're going to close it. Of course, we'll always take comments and the like. Cabinet is going to be working, taking the inputs from the sessions as well as the Budget Advisory Committee and starting the analysis during the week of Thanksgiving so we can put our heads down and get to work. And like I just mentioned, the Budget Advisory Committee has been very productive, and they had their final meeting last Tuesday. Ahmad put them through a variety of tools to weigh their ideas and the like, and we again met for the last time last week, and I want to thank the teachers, the classified staff, the students, parents, and community members for their invaluable work. And all the materials that we've been using are on the website, and that is also a click on the first page. In particular, I want to thank Kathy Niram, who's just, with her experience and seasoned leadership, has really been instrumental in our process. The Faculty Communication Council, or the FCC, we had a very delightful, productive meeting in that room right over there last week, where I sent you the workshop slideshow last week, and you know, we had to do some good soul searching about the why we have a communication and as a part of our positive culture goal. And I think people are, I really believe that people are coming together, and next Thursday I'm looking for a subgroup of them to go off and create the plan, which really is not going to be that much different, I don't think, than it was. It's just we've had a chance to kind of step back and reflect, and communication also means positive intent, and you know, we're going to look at norms and things like that. So it's really been quite fun, and we are going to launch it as a prototype right at the beginning of winter. So we're going to go back to some form of the reimagined FCC. At the same time, you know, I started the listening tours. Those are going to continue too. They're a different kind of a format. Instead of a representative, they're open to everyone. And I am astounded with how people speak their minds and how much I learn deeply about things. You know, as a superintendent, your interim superintendent, it's really important that I interpret reality well. And people have been very open and forthcoming about it. 8 sites so far, and I want to thank, again, the staff for being open and honest, and these really these conversations are the foundation of the culture we're trying to foster across PUSD. And we're building relationships and some trust. Learning a lot, and particularly I want to thank the principals who have been there and helped to facilitate the whole thing too. The other thing I just failed to mention is with the FCC, a big part of that design and the work through, I want to give a shout out to Principals Heidi Deeringhoff, Caroline Fields, and Sebastian Bull, who were instrumental in the design and that transformation. AI modeling, in addition to the important AI policy work, Amos is in the house, formed a small team with AI that is helping Patrick and me because we want to model our behavior of the use of AI. I think that's really important in terms of change. And I want to thank Kevin Kioe, probably one of the coolest human beings I've ever met in my life. Just a superstar, and Lisa Highfill, who's probably one of the most talented, and Amos, you've been just really great with bringing us along. And we want to lead by doing. We want to lead by modeling. Of course, it's just all about the students and the policy and the ethics and but I tell you, it's pretty mind-boggling. Last week, I don't know if you caught it, but I did the list of what was going on in the week, and I did a song with it, right? Well, what you didn't know is I wrote it all out on paper. I actually did the workshop design for the FCC in a 4 single-space document, and it actually produced, ready for this? I did the props right, a 10-slide PowerPoint for that workshop. Now, did I save time? No. But it definitely raised the bar and gave me some great ideas. This week, actually, news break today, right, Patrick? The U.S. News ranking, over half of our elementary schools ranked in top 10% of schools in California. All PUSD elementary schools earned U.S. News and World Report's Best Elementary Schools ranking for 2025. All PUSD middle schools rank in the top 20% of schools in California. All PUSD middle schools earn the best middle schools. Not bad, considering 9 out of 10 districts in the state are funded better than Pleasanton. And finally, I'd like to give some shout-outs. Sherilyn Boris received the California Music Educators Association Outstanding Elementary Music Educator Award. Yeah, Sherilyn has taught at Walnut Grove for the last 21 years, as well as Donlin and more this year. Foothill Band Director, Mr. Fuganes, honored at Pleasanton Veterans Hall of Foreign Wars, the VFW, Post 6298, received their Teacher of the Year. Thank you.
Okay, we are now moving on to consent. Items in our consent are usually routine in nature and can be grouped together and approved in one action. Items can be pulled by a trustee for clarification or discussion prior to the vote. Are there any items to be pulled? Mr. Maher, which one? G. Anything else? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve the other ones.
I'll make a motion to approve consent calendar except for item G.
And I'll second.
Okay. Trustee Dimitrioff?
Yes.
We have 4. Oh, there we go. That was me. Okay, the motion passes 5-0. Okay, Trustee Maher, item G.
It's really just a question for Ahmed. Ahmed, I noticed that we earned some interest. Is any of that interest, can it be used to help our financial situation, or is it already spoken, already in the budget, or there's constraints on it? Or?
Yeah, so it depends where the interest is earned. Majority of our interest is earned in some of the larger accounts, for example, the bond program. And so the interest is earned in there because that's the largest amount of money. And we do factor that when we plan the bond, that there's going to be a certain level of interest earnings. We don't know the rate, so we have to be kind of conservative. And then in our the general fund, again, depending on where the dollars are, we do estimate a level of interest earnings in that, and that can be used and is factored into our budget for our general fund as well.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like to approve?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve G.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Dimitrioff?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes 5-0. Okay, we can move on to item A, discussion resolution 2024-2025, recognizing National Apprenticeship Week, November 17th to 23rd, and PUSD First Youth Apprentices. This is a big deal. First in the state. Oh, I didn't mean to. Sorry. Steal your thunder. Sorry, I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited. Sorry.
It's okay, President Carrion. We forgive. So, good evening, President Carrion, trustees, Superintendent Geisels, Executive Cabinet, and Pleasanton community. It's an honor to be before you tonight. My name is Dr. Amos Lucius III. I have the privilege of serving as the Director of Career Pathways and Adult Learning, and we're excited for the presentation we have prepared for you tonight. Before we officially begin, though, I just want to acknowledge the recent elections and extend congratulations. We appreciate, again, your efforts. Thank you so much, and definitely want to just give a special recognition and appreciation to Trustee Maher. We appreciate you. I'm in my 5th year now with the district, so still relatively new, to the block. We've been here a little
You're
while.
only 50 years behind. You're okay.
So I just appreciate just getting to know you and working with you and just your leadership in the time that I've been here and the impact that you've definitely had. So I want to just express that.
Thank you, Amos.
On a personal privilege before we begin. So tonight, before you tonight, I have our work-based learning coordinator, Kim Greenhouse, and you're going to drive for us, Patrick? Perfect, thank you. All right. And then we have Scott Fung from the Division of Apprenticeship Standards. Behind me are several other people who you'll hear about in just a moment, but this is a big moment. So tonight, we're here to talk about National Apprenticeship Week and the significance of that for our district. So you want to get us kicked off?
Sure. Thank you. So National Apprenticeship Week is next week, November 17th to the 23rd, and it's an opportunity to showcase the successes and value of registered apprenticeships for strengthening our economy by developing a highly skilled workforce to meet industry needs, creating pathways for career seekers to catapult to good jobs, and advancing racial and gender equity. National Apprenticeship Week gives registered apprenticeship sponsors the opportunity to showcase their programs and apprentices in their community, which is our community. So we are very excited to be here tonight. Next. So this is the 10th anniversary of National Apprenticeship Week, and the theme this year is celebrating 10 years of engagement, expansion, and innovation. Next. All right. So over the past 10 years, there has been an increased public awareness. It's a decade of growth and diversification. We've had over 2.4 million new registered apprentices, representing over 90% growth. 23,729 new registered apprenticeship programs, and then increased percentages of active apprentices from underrepresented populations, which this is the exciting part. 225% more women. Yes, very exciting. 97.5% more people representing communities of color. 126.9% more young people ages 16 to 24. And as you can tell, that's where we just get super excited. 3,825% more individuals with disabilities, and 42% more veterans. Exciting. Yes, exciting. Thank you. Next slide. Oh, it's up to you. One more thing before we go to this topic, but all 50 states have participated in National Apprenticeship Week.
And so for us as a district, we're officially kicking it off today, but then the roadshow is going to start tomorrow at Village High School. We bring in our traditional apprenticeships. We're having a talk with the plumbers and pipe fitters who are going to be coming out. But then we're really excited because with our own apprentices and partners, next week we're going to be having 2 Q&A panels. One is going to be, and actually the days are flip-flop, so I'll own that, so apologies. On Wednesday, we'll be at Amador talking about, on Thursday we'll be at Amador talking about cybersecurity. On Wednesday, we'll be at Foothill, a Q&A panel with our youth apprentice as well, again, talking about our robotics. So we're excited that that'll be happening next week. So next slide, please. These are just some stats nationally. A lot of things are happening, but just wanted to kind of raise awareness as we're going to hone in on what's happening here. So we can go to the next slide one more time and one more time. So this is why we're here. I don't want you to hear it from us, but I want you to hear it from the state of California. So now I want to turn over to Scott Fung to talk about the significance of this occasion.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me okay? All right. So again, I'm Scott Fung. I'm a strategic youth business analyst with the Division of Apprenticeship Standards, and we're really excited to register these 2 apprenticeships. The first one that I want to name is the robotics program that Pleasanton Unified School District is doing. This is the first high school robotics apprenticeship program registered in the state of California. So congratulations on that, both making it to the finish line and also being the first. This is really significant for us at DAS because every time we have a new program that hasn't been done before, we have a roadmap for all of the other programs in the state that want to start. The second program that you guys have is the cybersecurity youth apprenticeship, and this apprenticeship is the first of its kind that uses a competency-based model. This is extremely important as we move through this vocational and school side-by-side learning. Having a competency-based model means that youth can accelerate faster if they have the skills and the experience, and they are not limited to predetermined hours for their apprenticeship. Both apprenticeships fall under 2 of the major lifts at DAS, the 5-point action plan, wanted to focus on expanding new and innovative apprenticeships. So typically we think of apprenticeships as construction, plumbing, things like that. So having these tech-centered apprenticeships is a big deal for us. And the second one is that it is youth-focused. I'm actually part of the youth team at DAS, so it's quite exciting to see programs that are successful working with the school districts and in the schools themselves. So congratulations to you.
And so with that, you can keep going to the final slide because this will conclude our presentation, but I want to just call out a few people. Online, not able to be here in person, but want to definitely shout out Deborah Messina Kleiman. She was with us last year in a full-time capacity. She still supports our team now, but not able to be here tonight, but tremendous role in helping us get to this point, so we want to acknowledge her. And then, of course, you can go to the last slide. You can go to the last slide. These are people in the room, so I just want to call out, we have our youth apprentices here and their parents, so you can just see them, and any questions you have, you can direct them towards them. So I'm just telling you who's in the room. So we have Harshita Kipipati and her parents who are here. She's one of our cybersecurity apprentices, so you can just raise your hand so they can see who you are. We also have Abhinav Garb. He's here with his parents. Both of these students are apprenticing at California Business Technology. So we have Gary Ingram and Mark Tanis here from California Business Technology, so we appreciate them. And then we have from Kensington Laboratories, we have Nikhil Kaul, who's right here. So let's celebrate Nikhil, our robotics apprentice. And we have Veena Kaul, who's here as well, his mom, and also with Kensington Laboratories. So we want to celebrate them because they're tremendous partners. And for us, this would not be possible without the Pleasanton Chamber of Commerce. So we thank and appreciate James Cooper, who's here, the CEO of the Pleasanton Chamber of Commerce. So thank you so much. And in the back is that cool person. You talked about Kevin Kioy, the teacher for cybersecurity. So we want to recognize him and all our other teachers played a tremendous part in helping us get to this point, along with Arm Robotics, who helped to develop this. So that's the end of our presentation. We'll do the resolution, but if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to direct them to them right there.
Can we get a picture?
Whatever you
Yes,
like. Whatever you
I want to.
like, so.
Come on up here. We got to celebrate you guys. This is exciting.
Oh, and just I'll say this while everyone's coming up. Everyone here has received like a certificate signed by the superintendent and everything. The apprentices, their certificate is actually going to be the official registration into the program. So when you all, before you all leave tonight, see us because we have the paperwork that we need you all to sign that we can submit on your behalf. So that'll be their certificate. So if you have questions, we can entertain those. If not, then I just would ask that we please read the resolution, and then we'll be all done.
Dr. Nugent, let's just pause for a second, see if there's any questions.
Oh, okay. Sure.
President Carrion had to step out for a sec, so why don't we start with Trustee Maherson's second to last meeting.
Amos, when they finish their apprenticeship, what happens then?
It's a great question. I can answer that, but do you want to?
They become a journeyman, or?
Yes, literally. You answer your own questions. So.
Yeah, so in the completion of apprenticeships here in California, the idea is that they are placed in full-time work at the journeyman level.
Okay.
And we hold to ETP wage standards, so our hope is that when we start off apprenticeships, they are full-time work, they are fully paid, and they are free to be apprentices.
In our case, though, our students, they all will be planning to go to college. So the reason that our model, we intentionally use this because with it being competency-based and being 1 year, it did not inhibit students who desire to go into college. So this aligns with the California State Dashboard because each of these students will be CTE completers on top of the fact that they'll be earning college credits. So it's really helping them to really graduate, being prepared, college and career, so that way their plans to go on to college or work or some combination thereof.
They work during the summer as they're going to school.
Yes, yes, yes.
What would a journeyman make in these areas?
Now that is a good. Can I get back to you? I have it down. I don't have that. I have it, but I don't have that.
I'm a give or take. I mean, yeah.
Starting about $45 an hour. Starting
$45 an hour?
Starting off. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question for the students themselves. If anyone wants to answer, feel free. My question is, what was your biggest takeaway from this experience? Just wondering, anything particular?
Hi, my name is Harshita. I'm one of the cybersecurity apprentices at CBT, and I would say like my biggest takeaway is kind of just like learning how to work in like a work environment with other people as well, because even though like we're the apprentices, we have to work with other people in the office, and so it's kind of nice collaborating and learning from like all the other like supervisors and everyone there, because I feel like we learn lots of new skills, and like even from like classes that we've taken at school in the computer science pathway, like we get to link those to like our work experience, so it's like very cool, and it's like nice seeing all those connect in like a real life experience, basically.
Wait, I have a question. My question is, how would you encourage other students to do this? Why should they do it?
I think since a lot of people who are taking these like cybersecurity courses or like the advanced computer science courses at school, like they're taking those classes because they have a passion for computer science or the cybersecurity pathway. So I think it's really encouraging because it's like encouraging you to take these skills that you learn in the class to apply to the job itself. And yeah, it's like a nice experience to see it all connect. And it's like very encouraging to do that too, because our teachers all like encourage us to do it and like, you know, put our foot out there and like get that experience.
Very well said. Any other questions?
I have a question. This could be for any of the students, robotics or cybersecurity. So I'm kind of curious in terms of the nature of the work, right? So when I think cybersecurity, like as an example, were you given a practical scenario of an intrusion or something like that, and you have to try to diagnose it, or is it more project-based? I know Ms. Akioi is very strong on getting business leaders to come in, express a business problem, and then let the students' creativity. So I'm just kind of curious the nature of what you as students did as part of the apprenticeship. Anyone can speak.
Yeah, so a good part of our internship is building skills. So that's really what we've been doing since I've become an apprenticeship. So some of those skills in cybersecurity could look like, for example, scanning networks or preventing attacks, prevention, response to attacks, etc. The actual fun scenarios where you have like an intrusion, you have to detect that maybe will come on later. But it is a really great experience gaining all these skills that will definitely help with cybersecurity.
Okay, excellent answer. Thank you. I'll pass it over to any other trustees.
So my question is actually back to Amos. What are the ages again for the opportunities for the apprenticeships? And I apologize if you already answered it. I might have missed it. So I'm really more interested in the recruitment process to get more students engaged to explore these apprenticeships, and at what age are students eligible to participate?
Great question. So at age 16, a student can participate in one of these. And so that's part of the reason why we're having the Q&A next week with these students during their classes. So these companies that we're thankful to be partnering with, the students, because they're at their halfway point. So each of these apprentices started in June 10th of this year. They pretty much worked almost a full-time equivalent over the summer when school wasn't in, and then when school started, they've been working an average of between 6 to 10 hours a week since then. And so now they're at about their midpoint. It'll finish in June of this year. And so as we are gearing up to prepare to begin our recruitment and selection for next year's class of apprentices, the Q&A with their classmates will happen where they can ask these type of questions and others about how the experience was for them, what they've learned, what kind of things they're doing, so that they can be informed and be able to apply to be considered for the opportunity.
You're welcome to come. Please do.
Thank you. So just to recap, and I apologize for not asking this ahead of time, so if you need to gather it and just submit it at another time. How many students, apprentice, on average, do we have each year?
So this is our first year. This is our first year doing this program. So we have the three. We have Abhinav, Harshita, and Nikhil. And so next year, we believe with the commitments from our employers, we're looking at being able to double that. So looking to have 6 opportunities potentially, but we're always actively working to get more employers who would be willing to bring on a youth apprentice.
So maybe you could backtrack, clarify what was the selection process for the candidates to being selected? It sounds like it probably was very competitive, or I don't know if you had a lot of applicants or not. Are all students available to apply from all 3 high schools? Can you maybe give a little bit back history on that?
Sure. So last year in the spring, we were very much building the plane as we were flying it. So we were going through the process of preparing the standards to be submitted to the state and having submitted them while we were then trying to advertise the program to launch it and get it going. So once we knew, because the company that we began the process with of developing them and that was going to be bringing on the apprentices, that opportunity fell through. We're grateful to Kensington Laboratories and California Business Technology because they both stepped up and were willing to bring on apprentices to help us keep this moving forward. So once we were able to lock them in that they would be confirmed employers, we then, yes, recruited. We advertised out. We sent. We went to the classrooms. We worked with the teachers. We sent information out to parents to let students know. So there was definitely opportunity for students to be well informed and apply. So we essentially facilitated our own edge on recruitment process, kind of like we do as a district. We established a Google form. Students had to submit their resumes. Students had to answer a few questions about why they want the opportunity, and the impact they wanted to have. I mean, students can definitely speak about their application process. Then after that, we gathered all that. We made sure that the students were going to be on track to be a CTE completer because that was going to be important. And so after we made sure they met the minimum eligibility criteria, then we got the teachers to give the students confirm, that they would give a recommendation. They have to write a letter, but that the teacher confirmed that the teacher would recommend them being a good candidate. After all of that happened and we came up with the list, that list was then shared with our employers for them to review the candidates. Then they scheduled interviews with the candidates. And from the interview process, they then selected the candidates that they wanted. And so it was a full process, very competitive process that landed us with our 3 youth apprentices that we have today. And then along the way, people who didn't make it as an apprentice, some, in the case of California Business Technology, were able to become interns. So it was a competitive process to give them a realistic look and feel of how real life is.
All right, that's amazing. I guess I'm a little blown away, and thank you, and congratulations to our first apprentice representing PUSD with this endeavor. I think I would just highlight that if there's anything that the board can do to help advertise this moving forward. And then one last question would be, I don't know if there's a legal regulation, but could it be lowered under the age of 16, or is it's required by by law?
That's state and federal law.
Okay, that's great.
State and federal law.
Wow.
But what I can tell you, though, to your point, just this week we were also asked to come and speak to the Alameda County Workforce Development Board because they have interest in this. I know different workforce development boards are trying to support this work. So throughout the county and looking at what we're able to do and things, I know they're going to be wanting to look to work with us. So we'll keep you informed, and there may be other things that can come up. So
Well, congratulations and thank you. Appreciate it.
all right.
I'm just so proud of you all. This is such a huge accomplishment. Thank you for all your hard work. Trustee Maher?
Amos, some of the employers are here tonight.
Oh, yeah, they're
Could they
right
raise
here.
their hand?
They're right here.
I want to thank you
Yeah,
for our students' work. Thank you very much. I thought I heard that at the beginning, but I wanted to
And the
thank
Chamber
you
of
for coming
Commerce is
tonight.
here as well. James Cooper with the Chamber of Commerce is here. Yes.
I appreciate the partnership. It really means a lot to us. Thank you very much. Before we make the resolution?
Sorry, I have an answer for you. $29 an hour for a robotics technician, $44.51 for information security officers.
Great. Thank you for that quick answer.
The state's not always quick with everything.
Okay, so we're going to move on to reading the resolution. Do we all have it in front of us? Okay. Namarta, could you please start us off?
Start at this end. Whereas National Apprenticeship Week is celebrating its 10th anniversary of raising awareness of the vital role registered apprenticeship plays as a proven and industry-driven training model and as a key strategy to improving job quality and creating access to good-paying, family-sustaining jobs for all, starting with youth and young adults, and
Whereas Pleasanton Unified School District recognizes the urgent need to prepare our students to address some of our nation's pressing workforce challenges, such as rebuilding our country's infrastructure, addressing critical supply chain demands, supporting a clean energy workforce, modernizing our cybersecurity response, and responding to care economy issues. And
Whereas registered apprenticeship programs enable employers to develop and train their future workforce while offering career-seeking students affordable pathways to high-paying, good quality jobs. And
Whereas Pleasant Unified School District recognizes the role of registered apprenticeship in expanding opportunities in our workforce that are inclusive of individuals who have been historically underserved, marginalized, and adversely affected by persistent poverty and inequality, justifying the path for all qualified individuals, including women, youth, people of color, rural and tribal communities, justice-involved individuals, and individuals with disabilities to become apprentices that contribute to America's industries and
Whereas Pleasanton Unified School District recognizes the pivotal role educators, school counselors, and educational institutions serve in not only bringing awareness of registered apprenticeship opportunities to students and parents, but also serving as training, providers, sponsors, and intermediaries.
Now, therefore, we, the Board of Trustees for the Pleasanton Unified School District, call upon educators and local industry partners to recognize the value of registered apprenticeship and to promote industry awareness and expansion during the 10th anniversary of National Apprenticeship Week, November 17, 2024 through November 23, 2024.
So now I'm looking for a motion to approve.
I will motion to approve, let me just get this correctly. Resolution 2024-2025.14, recognizing National Apprenticeship Week, November 17 through 23, 2024, and PUSD's first youth apprentices.
Excellent. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Trustee Dimitrioff?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes 5-0. Congratulations. Woo-hoo!
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. That's just amazing. I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you. Sure. Come on up.
No.
I,
They already did one, I think.
I think it's just the.
This thing.
Do you want us to come behind them? Okay, good. Okay, we can do that. We don't mind. Yeah, the inaugural class. Yeah, let me come back in a couple of years and say.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll let.
Yes, I'm sorry, I wasn't more timely with it. I'll wait for you to have a seat if you wanted to. 1, 2, 1. Yes. Good evening. Good evening. My name is James Cooper. I'm the president and CEO of the Pleasanton Chamber of Commerce. This is my 5th Chamber of Commerce, the 4th one that I've worked at actively, the 3rd one I've led as the president and CEO. And 2 of the previous communities that I worked with in this same capacity, we endeavored to try and create some connection between the business community and our schools, especially through programs like this. It never really got past stage 1. There was always a lot of talk, right? The business community is always looking for ways to do better at workforce development. And one of the key points in workforce development, from our perspective, is for our businesses to look around their community at that activity and to tap into resources maybe they weren't thinking about. And it became a natural connection to think about how we could get the businesses to meet up with the schools and help students learn more about those careers that are around them, but for which they probably don't know. So when I came into this community, one of the first things that I came into this community in 2022, I started in June, and one of the first things that happened with my board is they approved a strengthening of the relationship between the Chamber of Commerce and the school district. So that was the initial starting point for us to create a working relationship. Through that, we got to meet Dr. Nugent, and we got to talk about sort of what this might look like. I mean, it's kind of hazy at this point because we weren't really sure, but what was sure was our businesses were asking us about workforce development help. How do we find more employees? Where do we find more employees? What do we do? They could always go on Indeed, they can always do on LinkedIn, you can always do the classic things. So this was an opportunity for me to reintroduce a concept I had tried in 2 previous communities, which is let's look at our youth. And fortunately, we had a program and a program operator already thinking about that. The CTE program provided an easy entryway for us to connect our businesses that serve some of those roles here locally, to familiarize the kids with what those businesses need from a work skill standpoint for what you would be doing as an employee if you were to work for them, and to give those children a chance, young adults a chance to aspire to work right here at the place they were raised. And thus was born the program. For my part, I helped envision the beginning of it. I helped create the connection. I speak from the business's standpoint. Why would businesses use interns? Why would businesses look to spend time with our youth? How do we get our businesses to think this is a positive thing? And so we did our part in that, and in that journey, Dr. Nugent and his team came aboard and helped us really finalize the communication that ended up going out to our businesses. Last year, what I call our year 0, our beta year, was a test year, and I was shocked when out of the 600 businesses we have as members, 42 of them responded to the survey for wanting to get more involved. 42 out of 600 is a significant number and a significant starting point, and it gave me a lot of confidence that this was a program that would resonate here and that was something we could grow. And thus we've moved into what I'm calling year 1, our second year, but our first real year, where we're actually seeing that continue. We have another 35 or so businesses from this current iteration of the survey that are showing some level of interest. And what's important, I think, to clarify here is that businesses are not all equally equipped with taking on these challenges, right? They can't do it for several reasons, but maybe the most important is that they don't have the time or the capacity to really do what's important for that youth apprentice or intern. So we stress that there's different ways for the businesses to connect. You don't all have to provide internships. You can go speak in a classroom. You can do job shadowing. There's several different levels of engagement. What was important was to let businesses know you can step into it slowly when you're ready. But you should be thinking about workforce development, and if you are, you should be thinking about your students and the youth around here and help educate them on how they can become future workers and future leaders in this community. So as proud as I am of my role, none of it happens without Dr. Nugent and the team and all the students on the other side. So I just wanted to thank you again publicly and here, and just let you know that we're going to keep after it. So thank you.
Thank you for your partnership.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And big kudos to our business partners, Mark Tanis especially with California Business Technology. He's sort of blazing the trail in all of this. So thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, sorry. I was going to carry on.
Speaking of Mark,
My own
come on up.
jokes.
And Mark will be followed by Vina.
Thank you, everyone. It's an honor to be here. I do want to start by actually thanking James Cooper because, believe it or not, it was 2 years ago almost to the day that one of his trade show conferences it was a trade show, and we had a booth there, and that's where we had met Dr. Nugent. So I really like this interaction we have between Pleasanton Unified School District, the Chamber of Commerce, and the business community. So it's been a nice journey. Believe it or not, there's even more connections that came out of this. It was about maybe a little over a year ago. I got introduced to Kevin Kioy, and lo and behold, I was able to recruit him to the advisory board for computer studies at Las Positas College. So we're on that advisory board together. And then from there, of course, that's when it was April, we started hiring the interns. And we have a total of 6 students right now, and that are interns, and 2 of the apprentices, so 8 total. And it's just been give a special thanks, I think, to Deborah Messina, who's not here, but she's actually the one that encouraged me to consider high school students, because I have to admit I was a little tentative at first, but once I discovered that some of these students had been learning computer programming at the age of 9, I was sold. And I think I might just I also want to share special thanks to Gary Ingram, our Vice President. So he's really been doing most of the work for the cybersecurity apprenticeship program. And I think I also want to share one more interesting thing. So it was 30 minutes before the meeting here. 3 of our interns, they went live with a website. We have a new business that is starting here locally, and it's a private investigative firm to help find missing persons that have Alzheimer's and dementia. So they went live with a really nice looking website at 5:30 today. So I just thank you, everybody here. So it's an honor.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your partnership.
I'll just say a quick word because I think everyone's been here for quite some time tonight. My name is Vina Call, Vice President for Kensington Laboratories, and we do robotics and automation equipment. And one thing I have to just say thank you to all of you, and we are really grateful to be part of the program. I'm also part of Innovation Tri-Valley Workforce Development Committee here locally, and it's especially heartwarming to see in the community that I live and work that we're able to foster these type of relationships, encourage our youth, kind of I guess open their eyes a bit too. We're also part of we host Manufacturing Day at our office. We've done it for the last 4 or 5 years, where a lot of the high school students will come in and be able to see what we get to do. So I think this whole program that the team, Dr. Nugent and his team, have put countless hours, I know, into this program, and you guys have done a great job to get it launched with the state. That's really amazing, and it's really great. Just because I hear from other companies throughout the country the significance of workforce development with our youth. So thank you to the school district and everybody here for help supporting this, because it's really wonderful.
And thank you very much. That's it? Okay. We are going to move on to discussion action resolution number 2024-2025-12 for possible use of education protection account.
Good evening. So this is a routine resolution that we bring normally every June. We did see the very same resolution. The resolution has not changed at all from what we brought in June. That was 2023-2024.40. The reason we are bringing it back tonight is that Alamany County Office of Education pointed out that while we had included our use for 23-24, which is mandated to be posted on the website, and you approved it and it is on the website, we had failed to include the possible use for the coming year, 24-25, that we're now in. So that's why we're bringing it back. Like I said, the very same resolution. The plan is in here. I know there were a few questions that we answered in the Q&A, and we recommend that the Board of Trustees approve 2024-2025.12.
Do we have any questions? Okay, so I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-2025.12 for the use of the education protection account.
Second.
Can I ask a quick question? Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay, I was getting my thoughts together.
Okay.
So the funding that is being listed here, is it following the LCAP, or is it down below at the SIPSIS?
It's part of our LCFF funding from the state, so it's a subset of that.
Yeah, but like I guess what I'm trying to ask is, what is the funding trying to achieve? Is that trying to achieve the goals listed in the LCAP, or is it trying to achieve the goals listed in the?
It's part of the general, for the general population, goes into our general fund for use for all of the students. There are certain parameters, the most significant of which is that it cannot be used for administration.
Okay, so it's just open to use.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay, there's been.
Hold on. I don't know if that quite clarifies. Ahmad, could you be a little more specific? 'Cause she's, just from like an instructional standpoint, I hear what you're saying in terms of academically, or how, I think he's asking a little bit more on like.
This unfortunately is a part of the state's funding breakdown. When the LCFF was developed, and then the state had a shortfall of funding, they went out to the voters to basically generate more money, and it was this education protection account. So it's just a subset of the LCFF. It is no additional dollars. Within that, there's some parameters, as Ann said, that you have to, spend it on, teachers and can't spend it on administration. But unfortunately, it's just it's a step we go through for the state because of the way they are funding us. And unfortunately, it's no additional dollars in addition to what the LCFF calculates. It's embedded within that, and it's not part of the supplemental. It's part of the general LCFF that we can spend on, making sure that we meet our educational requirements.
Does that answer your question?
I guess a follow-up question would be, if it's like open funding, then if the amounts that are broken down in the budget, so it says like 213,000 are allocated to plant services. Is it restricted to those that we plan to? To those subjects that we plan to?
This is how it is currently budgeted, and then at the end, in June, we will again bring back how it was actually spent, but it would be close to this.
Okay. And what is plant services?
Do you want to take
I
that?
think it's mostly operational.
Yeah.
Operational. So it's like, could be anything from custodial to any of those type of services.
I'm sorry, one last question. How do you decide like how much money to allocate to each section? What's the reasoning?
It's part of our budgeting process. Again, it's just a very small subset of the total state dollars that we get, and then we follow the parameters for this education protection account.
So it's something just the administration does?
What's that?
That's okay.
Yeah, again, remember, it's part of the LCFF. This is just a process that the state makes us do to show where do you spend those dollars, and that's what that demonstrates.
Are you asking, is there like a certain formula?
Yeah, I was wondering.
Standard canned
is there
formula?
a certain formula to decide how much of the funding goes to specific subject? I was just wondering what makes us decide that 146,000 goes to pupil services, 213 goes to plant services. Why is it that specific amount?
No formula.
You want to get back to us? Maud?
Sure, we can get back to you. Yeah.
Any more questions? Okay, there's been a motion and seconded. So, Trustee Dimitrioff?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes 5-0. Okay, we're moving on to C. Discussion action resolution number 2024-2025, authorizing contract pursuant to Public Contract Code Section 118, piggyback statute, American Modular Systems for Modular Classrooms at Fairlands.
Good evening. So this is the next step in the Exciting Kids Club expansion at the Fairlands Elementary School. Staff recommend that the Board of Trustees approve Resolution 2024-25-13, authorizing the contract pursuant to Public Contract Code 118 piggyback statute, American Modular Systems. This will allow facilities and construction team to procure a new 24x40 modular DSA pre-check building. This approach will help expedite the construction of the modular building. And at a later date, we will be bringing a separate construction contract to the Board of Trustees for the construction of the foundation, site utilities, and site work. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
I just love that we're expanding Kids Club and that we're bringing
We do
in
too.
money, so this is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Trustee Maher?
This will be ready by September?
It will likely be a little bit later than September. We have done some exploratory work with the soils, and the findings that came out of our geotechnical report require additional analysis by the California Geotechnical Services, and that's just a seismic issue. There's nothing we can do about it. We didn't know about it going in, so it's a little surprise. It adds a couple of months to the project.
Thank you.
Trustee Brown?
So just a quick question. In terms of Kids Club, so obviously it's a before school and after school program. And I noted in the item, you've got a wait list of over 100 students. So there's no doubt in terms of the demand there and the value of expanding Kids Club. What is the reason that existing classrooms within the school couldn't be used before and after school, and that we need to expand the
footprint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll help answer that. So in certain schools, we do, when the type of classroom is available in a manner by which we can kind of co-use it, and we've done it at Alisal, we've done it at Donlin. But at Fairlands, they're significantly impacted, and they have one of the smaller kids club. I believe it's just a portable. So it makes sense to expand it with the funding that the state has provided for that program. And we see that it'll be needed going forward with that long, list of students who want to get into the program.
So this is being done with the state dollars, and it's not coming out of bond money.
Correct. The state, this is being done with the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program dollars, and so the state, those are restricted dollars that the state has provided for those programs, and it allows for these type of investments to be done as well.
Okay, great. Thank you for the answers.
I just wanted to echo on your statement with the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program grant funding. It's just a double check and re-clarify. There's no time cap on that funding.
So, no, it's ongoing funding.
Correct.
There is a time. There's usually a 2 year. So if you don't spend it in 2 years, you're going to have to return those dollars. So that's one of the reasons we're trying to expedite the project, is to ensure that those funds are spent in a timely manner. The state, there are school districts who are not doing the ELOP program, where they've struggled, but we've been very fortunate with having the Kids Club program that we've been really able to maximize and bring those services to our students who meet the qualifications.
So let me expand on that to clarify my question. So I know, for example, in Fremont, I work for a grant that's it's a 5-year cap, and the state will not be releasing any other funds for that particular grant. But for the ELOP, or Expanded Learning Opportunities Program, you said it's a cycle for every 2 years. But is the state going to continue to fund for ELOP, I guess would be my question. So in the next 2 years, will our district, if we're using those funds, will still have an opportunity to get those additional funding?
Let me just clarify. They're funding it on an annual basis, ongoing, unless the state changes, their program, but that is an ongoing commitment the state has made. Every time they give you the dollars, you have 2 years to spend it. If you don't spend it, then you have to return it to them, but it is ongoing.
That's great. So I think it's a great way to use funds from the state, so thank you.
Good.
Any other questions?
I have a question. What's the difference between a full-time student and a part-time student? And a follow-up would be, the wait list, is that part-time plus full-time included? Is it only full-time? What's the distinction?
So the full-time is, I believe that they're probably morning session and afternoon session. Part-time may also be that you don't come every day. Maybe it's Tuesdays and Thursdays rather than, because some students have activities after school. that they go to. So that's probably the main distinction between the two. They may be both included in the wait list. I don't have the breakdown of it.
Okay, any other questions? I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a resolution to approve Resolution 2024-2025.13, authorizing contract pursuant to Public Contract Code, Section 20118, piggyback statute for Fairlands Elementary.
I'll second.
Yes.
The motion passes 5-0. Okay, moving on to D. Discussion action, project inspector for Donlin Elementary School TK expansion project and Fairlands Elementary School TK expansion project.
All right, so we're getting into the good stuff. We are getting close to starting on Donlin. Donlin's actually gone through DSA. It's been permitted, so really exciting news. Fairlands is really getting close to being permitted, and we're actively bidding those projects, and we'll likely bring them back in January. So what this is authorization to enter into a contract for project inspection services. The state requires that we have a project inspector on site during the course of construction, and the job of the project inspector is to ensure that the building is built in compliance with California Building Code and the plans and the specifications. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Are there any questions? Okay, then I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make the motion, number 2024-2025.13, authorizing contract pursuant to Public Contract Code Section 20118, piggyback statute, American Modular System or Modular, that's Fairlands, I have it.
Yeah, it's the next one, Steve.
I don't have it.
Item D on the screen. On the screen.
Mine isn't on the screen. Here, I could, okay. There we go. This, okay, I'd like to make a motion that we hire the project inspector for Donlin Elementary School, TK expansion project, and Fairlands Elementary School, TK expansion.
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Dimitrioff?
Yes.
Did we just do it without Kelly?
We have a majority, I think.
Okay.
We're fine.
Okay, all right. Motion passes 4-0. Okay, we are moving on to E. Discussion action, design build agreement for campus renovation project for Foothill High School.
All right, this. All right. Can you guys hear me? Yep, perfect, great. So this evening, we're here to ask the Board of Trustees to approve the design-build contract with Rodan Builders for the Foothill High School campus renovation project. So this is one of our marquee Measure I Bond projects. This caps a comprehensive scoping and selection process that we'll get into in a minute that involved a great deal of input from the site and the community. We want to offer special thanks to those who participated. Sebastian Polk is here tonight. If you have any questions for him, the principal of Foothill. This design includes the renovated large gymnasium designed to seat 1,100 students, a new weight room, new fitness room, new team rooms, new lockers, a new auditorium with 413 seats, and a choir room, a band room, and support spaces. And this project also includes renovation of existing practice gym and extensive renovations of Building H. So with that, we'll jump into the presentation this evening. All right, so as we mentioned, this caps off one of our Measure I projects. So back in November of 2022, the voters passed the Measure I bond project, or bond program, and authorized the district to issue $395 million in bonds. And again, this is one of our marquee projects. In order to get here tonight, we actually started about a year ago, and we held a number of meetings. We met with different stakeholders within the Foothill community. That included students, it included teachers, it included staff, but it also included neighbors, and then we had open community meetings. And we had probably 5 or 6 total meetings, a lot of great feedback. And from that, we developed the criteria documents, and those are really the backbone of what got us here tonight. So those criteria documents outline the goals of the project. It outlined the requirements of the project, the different facilities that we'd be creating, the different sizes, and all the specific requirements. And we shared that with the design build community. So in April, we issued an RFQ. And when we issued that RFQ, we got a lot of interest. And I think that really speaks to the desirability of this project. So 12 teams submitted proposals to us. 3 of those teams were shortlisted and selected to move forward into the RFP phase. These teams were selected due to their past experience with design-build projects, the project complexity, safe work practices, and our experience working on active campuses. The RFP phase then consisted of a design competition between 3 firms. And we met with each of these firms on multiple occasions to talk about their designs, to give feedback, and all that good stuff. And the folks on that committee included site staff, administration, and 2 trustees from the facility committee. From there, we went into an evaluation process, scoring each of the designs based on cost, firm history, schedule, and phasing. And ultimately, our selection committee selected Rodan Builders with SVA, and so I want to introduce Nathan Herrero, who is a principal with SVA, and he's going to walk us through the design this evening.
Thank you, Aaron.
There you go.
Thank you. Again, Nathan Herrero, principal with SVA Architects, and really excited to be a part of this project for Pleasanton Unified. And just a little start on our approach as we approach this project, because we do a lot of design build projects and we see the criteria docs, and they're really meant as just kind of that backbone, that framework for the project, but we never want that to sort of limit the creativity and the sort of extra level of analysis you get from design build. And so we really spent the effort as part of this project to analyze not just the exact rooms and spaces that were in the program, but the whole site at Foothill High School. And how do we make sure that this project really improves the entirety of the campus and not just the buildings that we're in. And that led us to explore a lot of different alternatives for the project and land on something I think is really going to be a great improvement to the overall campus life there. By repositioning where parts of the program are, in the case the new performing arts building, to create what we're calling the sort of arts and athletics building, we're really freeing up a lot of space within the campus for circulation and outdoor areas that we think will really improve the life of the campus, preserve a great space in Building H that otherwise might have gotten demolished and now can become a new student union, and create some real outdoor space that I think you'll see in some of the renderings later that's really going to be great usable space for not just the arts and athletics, but the overall campus. So as you see up there, we're sort of around 3 sides of the old competition gym. We're building an addition that's 3 times the size of the competition gym to create that brand new sort of combined arts and athletics. And by the end, that'll feel like one big, entirely new building when we're done with it.
Excuse me, Aaron?
Yeah.
I don't know if others need this, but I'd like to get a orientation of where this is on campus. It's hard to get perspective of existing buildings and exactly where it's at.
Kind of walk everybody through that, or do you want me to do that?
I can do it a little bit, or if you have. So, if you are familiar, the main student parking lot would be just past the bottom slide of this slide, and the front of campus is to the left. If you look and you see a basketball court and bleachers at the top, in the area that's in light purple on the plan. I can
That's the existing gym.
Is this new building here the one that's 2-story
No.
that exists?
No.
So this is the student parking lot here.
Right.
Okay. The front of the campus is here, over here. And the administration building is going to be up there.
Oh, it's up
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah.
So they're moving the administrative center.
No, administration's building stays.
Way up there.
No.
There's a better visualization in the longer document.
We,
Oh,
Mr.
South
Bull.
Station.
Is this like
Mr.
the current
Yeah, here we go.
cafeteria? You look left.
You can
This
tell.
is the current storage, yeah. This is the current cafeteria.
Oh, quad area. Okay.
C building library.
Oh, the administration is
Administration's up here and
Yeah.
off the screen
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bull.
Welcome.
This is your baby, you know this campus.
And I are good, because
we've
sat through the whole meeting.
Yeah.
And I coached there for 10 years.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them what page?
Yeah, let's move on to the next slide. So this is a diagram that's just showing you all of the different rooms that are in that new combined building. Point of reference, so you'll see that gym floor on the upper left. That's the existing competition gym now worked into the larger building. So, and around that, we're replacing the existing locker buildings being demolished. We have new lockers, team rooms, sport facilities for athletics, all surrounding the main competition gym. And on the right-hand side there, you've got new weight room and fitness areas. And then on the bottom half of that plan are the new art spaces. So that's going to include a new theater with over 400 seats, full stage, music and choir classrooms, and a lot of sports spaces for all of those. One really great thing I think about this is rather than having two independent buildings for the arts and athletics, we take all of that support and combined spaces that would have been duplicated across them, and instead we combine them. We have a much bigger shared lobby. So if you have an event in one space or the other, you can make use of a space that's twice as big. And I think it helps to sort of unify the campus and bring the programs together where it doesn't feel like the arts kids are here and the sporting events are there, but it really does, I think, unify the campus in that central location.
I have a lot of questions. We'll be following up with that.
Yeah. So here's just a little more detail on the layout of that. We are fitting a few more seats into the gym, so it'll sit just over 1,100 when we are done with all new bleachers, new floor. It'll feel like in a brand new space there. And you're getting a lot more support space for all of those athletics programs. So you see the training rooms and team rooms, fitness rooms. So really comprehensive athletics program that can be housed here. With its current location, some of those training rooms and workrooms and fitness all open up to the outside. They have operable doors so they can take advantage of the outdoor spaces around, and they're also serving all of your outdoor field areas. So they're not just serving the internal gym sports, but all of the field sports as well. One more to the art side of the building there. So you'll see the art side of the lobby be a really tall space. You'll see in the rendering kind of a beacon as you enter from that side of the campus. Completely new volume there, full stage, really sort of top of the line performing arts center for a high school. And then at the back of the house, we've got a choir, band, classrooms, storage spaces, dressing rooms, everything that comes with getting a fully functional performing arts center.
Thanks, Patrick.
And then a little bit of what we are proposing for the existing building H. With part of our site plan is we thought it was really great. You have a space there that's the existing multi-purpose room that has a small stage on it. And the original criteria plan would have included demolishing that multi-purpose room, and you wouldn't have lost it or had to rebuild it. By locating the new theater at the other location, we can actually maintain that space. And part of what we added as an alternate, as included, is to actually take the space that previously was the stage and expand the multi-purpose room into it. Since we don't need that stage space anymore, it's moved over to the new building. That will create a much larger space that'll be a more useful multi-purpose room. It can still fulfill event functions within there, but for regular everyday student gathering, you have an extra 1,600 square feet added to that room that now makes it even more usable. And then we'll move some of the arts classrooms that were previously in the locker rooms over into that volume. Go to the next slide. So here's a rendering as you walk from that student parking lot onto campus, and you'd be looking into that large shared lobby. So this is the art side of the lobby here. So you'd have that really great high volume space and really emphasizing that walkway that connects in through campus. So we're actually making it wider than what's there now. So you do have a better circulation through from the main student parking lot. If you go to the next slide. The plan is to improve the existing grass area of the quad to make it more usable so it's during the day. So right now you have a slope. We're actually going to step the slope to create seating so that outdoor area becomes more usable and help to sort of bridge the gap. I think if you stand now where the shade structure is in the quad, it feels very disconnected from the lower area, and the grass can be a little soggy at times and not usable. So we're really trying to make that entire center of the campus usable outdoor space.
Some questions?
Yeah.
Great. So with that, we'll open it up to questions.
Trustee Brown?
I'm going to keep my questions short because I suspect others have more. First of all, I mean, it seems like at a high level, it seems like a really smart thing to do what you're proposing. So kudos there. The engineer in me wonders about the acoustics of having all these programs all adjoining in hallways and kids' noise, doors left open for the big game with hundreds of people, and the band playing and so on, right? Like sound travels, and once you combine these buildings together, like how's that going to work?
I think if we could go back to the overall floor plan real quick, and I'll just talk you through that. So first, we do have a dedicated acoustical engineer as part of the project team who makes recommendations and is pestering all of us about making sure we follow through to the end. But you're right, we are combining a lot of things together here, and I think in all of the areas what we've tried to do, and you can tell a little bit on the plan, is we're never putting two noise-sensitive areas directly attached to each other. So the gym has a break where the locker rooms and team rooms sort of surround it and separate it from everything else. The corridor separates the locker rooms from the theater half.
I think we got a very proud
Yes.
future principal in the room there. He's excited, I can tell.
We actually use the spaces between the choir and band to buffer those and provide some additional separation.
Okay.
And then if you look at the theater, I think a really important part here, the dark blue circulation area into the theater. So we actually have really long sound locks into the theater. So those are help to really reduce any noise getting through from the lobby into the theater. It also helps unload the theater really nicely because they have a lot of queuing space to get out, so you don't end up with a traffic jam at the end of the show when the audience gets up to leave. But we will make sure that we are limiting that sound so that you can use all these spaces at the same time.
Yeah, I knew you'd thought about it. I just was trying to extract out of you, like, what were the considerations, because it was just like, okay, great idea. And just, I wanted that reassurance that you gave me, so I appreciate that. I don't know why my microphone seems so loud. And then the other question I had on the original diagram that you had around the turf and I saw the artificial turf with the steps and so on. The other field where it's a turf, that's real turf?
Are you talking the lower portion or the athletic field?
You'd have to bring up the diagram.
Let me go back.
Like Maurice, I was trying to get oriented. Yeah, the 116,000 square feet, is that?
That's synthetic turf.
That's synthetic turf as well. Okay. Okay. Back to you, President.
Yeah, I have a question. If we can go to slide 8. Just wondering about the restroom above the auditorium. Is it going to be a shared restroom, a restroom shared across both genders? Because there's only one large restroom for the entire theater.
It is going to be all-gender restroom. So those are built like full rooms. Each of the stalls, they're not partitions like you'd find in a conventional restroom. So that is a shared all-gender restroom.
Can I ask, what's the reasoning? Because before, we have all gender restrooms, but they're individual, and we still have the restroom separated by gender otherwise.
Yeah, we did discuss this a little bit in the confidential meetings. To do a shared restroom like this where all the toilets are in a stall but the sinks are in a common area is a lot more space efficient than having every single room have a separate room with all the clearances for a sink and a toilet within them. It would take more than double that space to do an equivalent thing of all gender restrooms if they were all had their own sink and toilet in a separate room.
It's also a more efficient use, right, so that people can queue through more quickly. I mean, we've all been to events where one restroom is got a line out the door and the other restroom is virtually empty, and so this will allow
I think that's going to be a long wait with the women's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be shared. And second of all, I've seen like big shared bathrooms in, like a theater in San Francisco. I've been to one, but this is high school, and I fear that there's potential for just unsolicited harassment because there's no adult supervision in a restroom naturally, and it's just a little concerning for me.
Yeah, I share that concern.
Yeah.
One of the discussions we had about this facility was this bathroom would be open for when we're having performances for the community. So this wouldn't be open during the school day for students to use. This would be only open in the evenings when we're having community events. But you have, big theater productions. It's not like a normal everyday bathroom used during the school day. We have enough other bathrooms on campus. This would be for that, preserved for that theater kind of event.
What does it mean, 73? 73 people can be in there? Am I not looking at the right restroom? Guest RR 73, square feet. So how many?
I think, yeah, it's a little small on the screen there, but it's probably.
Is it one? Is it like one person at a time?
No, it's almost 1,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's 852 square feet, and it's got one.
So I'm sorry, I'm still confused. If I have to go to the bathroom, am I going to be next to Justin?
You're going to be in a room that's built with full walls. You won't know who's in the stall next to you because it's an actual room with doors and.
It isn't. So our restrooms here, right? If you go into our restrooms here, they have partitions, and those partitions are not all the way to the floor, right? You can see feet, and they have a little crack on either side. These are going to be just like any other room. So it'll be full height drywall walls, door that goes to the ground. So it's just going to be going into a room, closing the door, and
How many rooms are there?
there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
12.
Yeah, 12. Now, the reality, Nathan, if we needed to, we could always build a partition wall down the center. And yeah, I mean, so there's always an opportunity if this doesn't feel like the right solution, right? We're in the very early phases of design. We could build a partition wall down the center, and we could create gender-specific restrooms.
Then I'm sure you're going to have at least one that's gender neutral.
I think we have enough flexibility.
Yeah, there's certainly time to adjust the layout of this.
Okay.
Yeah, that answers my question. I guess my follow would be for the concession booth, for concession stand. There's not one at the Amber Theater. It's just is Foothill planning to sell things, or is this more for the sports events? Like, what's the reasoning for the concession stand?
Yeah, concession stand. Obviously, in the theater, you would limit what food and beverages are taken in there, but this would be for the sporting events or in intermission. People can come out and have buy something, or halftime of the games. If it's sharing a lobby like that, so that's the idea of the concession space.
So this would be like student run, I assume.
It depends on the thing. Like when we have events now, it's either run by booster groups or clubs. Maybe do it. It just depends on what the event is that's going on in that theater or that gym space at that time.
Okay. Thank you.
Trustee Maher?
I was fortunate being on the facility committee. Trustee McCosh and myself were at many, many meetings, and I love it.
Trustee McCoshie?
I will echo what Trustee Maher stated. I would just like to comment on the process that was facilitated by all parties involved. And there was actually a scoring process where we had an opportunity to listen to the architects give their presentations, and we had to independently score each plan and proposal, and an opportunity to go back to the architects to ask additional questions. So I appreciate the additional questions that are being brought up today, and just would like to echo what Aaron's been saying, that some of the questions that are being identified can go back to make modifications based upon needs. I would just make one comment in regards to the choir and the band space. That's, will the students be there during the day, correct, for like band class and all that? So my only question would be to echo what they're asking about the restrooms. If they're in band class, where do they go to the restroom? If they need to get a break, or like in the middle of class or whatever. So that would just be my clarifying question. If you can't answer it now, but if you're saying that the bathrooms are closed.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side, the other diagram above, you have the bathrooms that are in the locker rooms.
Okay.
Gym as well, so there's separate bathrooms there as well, so I think.
It's good to go. Okay. So that might also clarify what they were asking, but I appreciate the trustees' questions. I kind of would make a comment, Trustee Carry, on back to our curriculum days when we were asking all the questions on the curriculum work. And I would say that it is part of the appreciative process to include the trustees, because a lot of questions we've been able to vet, but maybe there's a way in the future projects like this, you know, giving mini updates, Q&A with other trustees so that we can vet some of those questions. But anyway, thank you.
Okay, so my question is, I love drama, I love plays, and to me 413 doesn't seem like enough, and I'm feeling like we're short-sighted because we have 1,000 for the gym and only 400 for the drama.
So, you know, we approached Amador and Foothill as two unique and separate theaters. The idea behind the Foothill Theater is it would be a little bit smaller and a little bit more intimate. And we had a lot of different conversations with our theater consultant, Shalik, and he took us to a couple of different theaters in the Contra Costa and Alameda County area and showed us what a bigger theater felt like and what a smaller theater felt like and what they serve. And really what we found is that there is no one right size, right? So it isn't like the right size is 500, 800, 1,000, 100. Each of the theaters serves a different purpose. And what he was explaining is that on certain circumstances, performances are going to sell out the house, right? And he said in those cases, a lot of times the artists will have multiple performances so they can serve the community at large. He said, but other times you're going to have a very small performance. You might have something that is only attracting a small group of people. And so maybe they're doing improv, or maybe they're doing a monologue, or, you know, poetry reading, or whatever that might be, and it's maybe only attracting 50 people. Well, 50 people in a 500-seat theater or a 600-seat theater will feel very empty and not at all intimate. And so by creating different sizes within the district, we create different opportunities.
So do we have an idea how big Amador would be? I'm asking because we're going to do joint plays, and there would be a lot more people.
Off the top of my head, it's in the 500s range. I just don't remember the specific number.
That doesn't seem like enough.
Ms. Carrion, I can add some context. I'm in Amador's Wood Ensemble Music. Our theater, so you know the top is blocked off due to fire safety hazards, but I did some research. Our theater currently has 370 spots, and those seem to be enough for the music performance. Now, I'm not sure about the drama, but so 400 seems like a reasonable, on the lower end, sure. Maybe on days it will be overfilled, but otherwise it seems like a reasonable number.
Aaron, Can you talk a little bit more about how the differences between Amador's Theater and Foothills? Because I know, like, I believe Amador's had the flag trap or was thinking about that. So maybe to help clarify with the rest of the trustees that there are some distinct differences between the two theaters.
We're still kind of working through the scoping on Amador, so we can't get too much into it. We're still in the confidential phase. But the two theaters were intended to be uniquely different. They were intended to serve two different purposes. So when we were originally working through the criteria documents for Amador, we were looking at employing what's called a fly loft, and that's an element of the building, an architectural element of the building that allows scenes to be raised and lowered, and you know, different curtain assemblies and things like that. So it creates a different functionality than the Foothill Theater would. So it's just, we kind of, when we started down this path of scoping these two projects, we had a lot of questions. Should they be identical? And, you know, should one do this? Should one do that? You know, if we do something over here, do we owe something over here? Is one going to be better than the other? And really what we settled on is leaning into what did the users want and how do we best serve the programs that they had on the campus. And so that's kind of how we ended up where we're at.
Okay, so my other question was about the shared space. And so I know that we're always competing for space. I know, like, you know, like this person wants this. I mean, how are we going to, the logistics of it kind of scares me.
You want to speak to that question? Sure. Well, logistics on a high school campus always scare me, so that's part of the deal. But the great thing about this design is on most nights, well, any day on the campus, something's going on, right? There's always something. But there may be some nights where there's two things happening at the same time. Back to Trustee's Brown question about the gym and the theater at the same time. But you have a capability in that shared lobby where you can close the door between it, so it's an open space, or you can separate it so you can have one side of the house for the theater and one side of the house for the gym. So if you have a basketball game going on at the same time as a Winter Guard performance, let's say, or a wind ensemble performance, you can do that, and that will allow that flexibility. I mean, now we have no space on our campus, so this is expanding the opportunities. 250%. I mean, all we have now is a multi-purpose room, which is extremely over-programmed, and we can't fit everything in there. So that now this allows a ton more opportunities for things to happen in different parts of the campus. You know, I know this building is connected or a little close to each other, but it expands opportunities for our students to have more things going on at any given time, which is very exciting.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, can I sit up there? Oh.
And you have to repeat yourself.
Should I sit over here?
Yeah.
Sorry. I was trying to stay out of the... Do I have to repeat all that again?
Yes, please.
Is
Thank
this
you.
on? Is this on? It is on. The idea is we have now an expanded opportunity for a lot more space on our campus for events. So yes, there may be some overlap with events happening at the same time, but the lobby space allows for, if you can see the dashed line there in the lobby, you can close that door or close the wall and have a separated space for theater performance while something's happening in the gym. Currently now we only have one multipurpose room and one gym, and things cannot fit in all those at the same time anyway. So now this is expanding more spaces for a lot of events. And we may use the multipurpose room now for other events that are going on and not have them happening in the theater, depending on what kind of activity it is. So that creates a lot more flexibility in terms of the use of space that's available on our campus.
You don't see a facilitron problem with people fighting and...
No, that never happens. No, I mean, yes. It's what it allows for is a lot more flexibility, because currently in the last month, in the month of November or October into November, we had in our multipurpose room, we had during the day we have wind ensemble classes, orchestra classes in there. Then we have adaptive PE in there. This is all during the school day. If it rains, we have lunch in there. Then we have staff collaboration in there. In the evenings or after school, we had cheer practice, and then we had a drama rehearsal for our play. So that's all happening in the MP at the same time, so there was all this conflict at the same time. What is going to happen now is you have the drama production in the theater, the cheer practice can stay in the MP, or they can use the fitness room or the small, I mean, they have a lot more opportunities. So it's actually going to create a lot more or a lot less opportunities for overlap, which there still will be some, but not all the time, which is going to be a big benefit.
All right,
Yeah, can I just point out something though? If you close the lobby, it means that you're reserving the concession and all the 12 restroom facilities for the gym. What restroom facility would because there's no door or anything from the theater side. If you were to close off the lobby there at that dashed line.
The idea is when you closed it, it would still have a door in the panels, so you could still get back and forth between them.
Okay.
You just would default to having a basic acoustical visual separation.
Okay. All right.
Sebastian, you like it?
Yes, Steve, I love it.
That would be the question I need. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Pretty exciting.
And how far away in the future is opening this? Like how many times how long do I have to stay on the board to be there at the opening? Well, no, it's not about that. Just the excitement of opening a facility like this.
It's about the plaque.
Yeah. So we have a sort of 3 increment schedule for completing the project. The first work would start with the demolition of the existing locker room next summer. We'd place a few temporary spaces that are just to serve as the temporary locker room. The sum total of all of the construction basically takes through 2 years. So from the summer of 25 through summer of 26 and the summer of 27, we'll be working in different areas at different of those times. So we're trying to not do any work in Building H where the existing MP is until we're further along, so we keep that space not impacted by construction. Try to front load some of the work in the practice gym in the sort of least impact time possible, but the idea would be basically 2 school years from now we turn over all of this.
If you can do that, I'd be immensely impressed.
2.5 years from now. Yeah.
2.5 years sounds great. Great. Okay, are there any other questions?
I have one last question. So it looks like I've had music concerts where there's both like a volleyball game, a basketball game, and our concert going on at the same time. Now, because this is in the shared building, it seems like the bathrooms are going to be accessible from both events. And from a high school perspective, I know the bathrooms can be vandalized, they can be closed. They're often very dirty. Sometimes toilets themselves are broken, or for whatever reason, the line may be very long. I'm just concerned that there's not enough bathrooms, because if there's 2 events going on at the same time, it's just going to be tough. And if it's an all-gender restroom as well, there's going to be long lines. And yeah.
Well, if the competition gym's 1,100 and the theater is 430, that's 1,500. Serviced by 12 restrooms.
I think we need more restrooms.
Yeah, I think we need more restrooms. And I would prefer. I think they should be separated by gender.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. Mr. Bolhoffen, do events like that coincide at the same time? In your experience as a high school there for 6 years, 7 years?
This is year 8. So since we don't have a building like this currently, we don't have a theater, so we have a multipurpose room and a gym. But I would say maybe throughout the school year to have let's say a large basketball game the same night as a musical performance in the MP, once or twice a year, if that. So that's about it for the year.
I guess my question was, would they really overlap? Because usually I was in drama in high school, and there were like special events, and it was usually concentrated for, they work to put production together. It takes 2 to 3 months to get the setup and all that together, and then you do a performance for like 2 weeks max, 2 weekends, and maybe a Sunday matinee and all that. So I understand the concern about bathrooms, but my question is, yeah, maybe once or twice a year?
So yeah, we have, probably once or twice a year we'd have maybe overlap of a night with multiple things happening. But yeah, to your point, like a drama production would be like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, maybe a Sunday matinee over a week or two, depending on the size of the show, what they're doing. But that may overlap then one night with a sporting event. But aside from those bathrooms, I mean, in the existing practice gym or small gym, there are 2 bathrooms on the backside of that, which is close to the backside of this building. There are bathrooms in the D building, which is adjacent to the gym. There's bathrooms by the library, which is adjacent. So there's bathrooms by the multipurpose room. There's other bathrooms around. So like when we have like the Foothill Band Review, for example, and we have 4 billion people on the campus, we open every bathroom, and it's been able to maintain or support that amount of people on the
To your point, for special functions, being cost effective, have there been ever situations where you've had to rent a couple porta potties or something like that for like an unusual circumstance versus amount of money it would cost to alter plans to add additional bathrooms? Maybe this is something that can be taken back to the team to look at, to consider what cost effective situations.
Too, I think there might be operational solutions that we can look at besides construction, you know, so it might be something, Sebastian, we huddle up and figure out what's the best right solution there. But, you know, certainly we can assess opportunities to increase the fixture count.
And then take it back to the facilities committee.
Yeah, and I know like arenas as an example, they have a certain ratio for 500, you need X number of stalls from, I just Googled it, it's like for every 500, you need 3 for men and 6 for women kind of thing as an example, to depending on whether you segment it, right? So anyway, we'll leave it in your capable hands. You know our concern as a board. So.
Have more women's bathrooms, please. I had my way.
The recommendation, according to Google, is 2 to 1.
Yeah, but I've never seen that.
Okay, we'll take it back to the facilities committee.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all right, any other questions? Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
I move.
I second.
Okay, Trustee Dimitrioff?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes 5-0. Thank you so much for your hard work. This is exciting times.
Thank you.
Oh.
As long as it has a plaque, apparently.
Oh, yeah, the Maher. Oh, no, naming rights. Okay. Discussion action. Hey, I'm in charge here. Okay, discussion action, material testing and special inspection for Donlin Elementary School TK Expansion Project and Fairlands Elementary School TK Expansion Project.
All right, so Donlin Fairland continues. So we talked about how they're getting close, if not already permitted. And so, you know, building code in the state also require us to have what's called a materials testing and special inspection consultant on our project. And what this consultant does is test materials to make sure they're in compliance with the performance criteria established either in the building code or the contract documents. So they will take samples of the concrete and they will cure it and they'll break it to make sure it has the right strength. They'll take samples of the reinforcing steel and they'll break it to make sure it's strong enough. They'll monitor welding to make sure it's done properly. They'll also assess building compaction, among other things. So with that, I'll open the floor if you have any questions.
Are there any questions? Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the materials testing and special inspection for Donlin TK and Fairlands TK expansion.
Second.
Somebody second. Trustee Dimitrioff?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes 5-0. Okay, discussion, action, procurement for playground equipment through landscape structures for the TK expansion project at Donlin Elementary School.
All right, so nice, fun way to end the evening. We are going to be using the CMAS procurement method to purchase playground equipment at Donlin. Fairlands will be coming to in a future board meeting. We're still working through some of those design decisions with the Fairlands staff. But this is a really interesting design. It's kind of a geodesic dome, and it creates a lot of opportunities for all children to play. And one of the things that really impressed me about how the Donlin group worked together to select this equipment is they looked at how each of their students play. You know, they've got some that are very active and physical, so they want to make sure they had things that they could climb on and run up and down and burn that energy off. And then they had students that, you know, like to have small intimate play, and so they made sure that they had spaces for those students. And they had students that maybe can't go up a flight of stairs yet, so they made sure that those kids had elements to play with. And so they really got to a granular level with each of the students to make sure that their needs would be met, and I was so impressed with that. So with that, we would recommend that the board authorize us to proceed with the CMAS procurement.
Are there any questions? I do have one question. I'm looking at the pictures. Thank you for sending the
Yeah, no
pictures.
worries.
So it looks like there's a ramp. So does that mean that it's accessible to wheelchairs?
So there's a transfer station, which means that a student who uses a wheelchair can have a place to get out and stand, and then they would be walking up this ramp. Now, what we have worked on with the community, with the teaching community, and kind of what I've learned as a professional, is that having a fully accessible, wheelchair accessible playground is really quite challenging. And if we were to have something that's completely accessible, we would also be not meeting the needs of other students who are using the stairs to develop coordination and muscular strength. And that could be students that are also using wheelchairs, right? We have a student who is using our playground equipment to develop the skills to climb stairs. So having those stairs there is a very important piece of his developmental education and his physical developmental process. And so that's where sitting down with the staff and talking about how each of their students plays and making sure there's elements for each of those students, and making sure that the playground equipment is designed in such a way that the kids are all playing together and in around each other, so that we don't have a section that is accessible and is off to the side, so the kids that can't climb the stairs are kind of by themselves, that the accessible components are all mixed in, so all the kids are playing together, and there's that the level of inclusivity that we're really striving to get to.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I'm looking for a motion. Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the playground. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Dimitrioff?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes 5-0. Excellent. Okay, so now we move on to board members' report on meetings and request. Trustee Dimitrioff.
Okay, well, it's been a long time. It's been 3 weeks since I last was here and I last gave you an update, so I guess I'll be like Aiden and I'll give you an update for Emro instead. So we did hold, like he said, we also held a mock election, but we had the results in. We had an identical ballot, except we did not have state, what do you call them, state positions? State offices?
Oh,
We had propositions, not state positions, so no state senators, no state representatives. I don't have the results with me, but they were very interesting to look at. Also, we had Halloween, so we had people wear costumes. Last week, we had Japanese fair, hosted by our Japanese classes. We had Japanese fair, hosted by our Japanese classes, and so it was very interesting. They sold, they actually made cotton candy. They showed us how to make origami, so it was like something you would just go during class. Teachers would take you there in the NPR. One of the great uses for a good NPR. Very busy, very crowded, but people really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. We had our last football game, home football game, I believe. So spirit was a little lacking, to be honest, but I tried to make up for it. We did some chants. And about the play that you were interested in, it's The Crucible. I read it in English last year, actually, so I'm going to go. And it's going to be, it was supposed to be today, tomorrow, and then the day after tomorrow. So, yeah. Hope that sums it up. I guess my only request would be if I could get the follow-up from the budget, from the EPA budget, on like how funding is this, how the amount that goes to each category is decided on, because it just seemed like I was curious on that.
Okay, Trustee Maher?
A couple things. One, I attended an IPAL meeting with Aaron and Monique, and it was a good meeting. The teachers really got to voice their concerns, and I think we're moving in a good direction.
Okay, good.
Also attended a couple of facility meetings regarding Amador, Foothill, and so forth, so we're moving forward with that. We have another meeting tomorrow on Amador. Attended an ROP dinner, and Lanita, although I had some very nice comments about me tonight, I have one more meeting, don't I?
Yeah.
Or should I leave tonight? I'm not sure. One more?
Yeah, December 12th.
Okay, good. Okay.
That's better. Okay, Trustee Mukashi.
Yeah, so since we last met, we had a city district liaison committee meeting this week, which was very, I don't know what the tempo was, but it was just very like bleak, I guess, just talking about the agenda items on deficits. Certainly the city's really disappointed that the measure did not pass, so there were some budget items talked about in terms of how to deal with some of the challenges fiscally for the city, general themes of collaboration and how the city and district can work together on shared costs, challenges, that common theme in the last couple meetings, like for example, school resource officers and crosswalks. And so that said, it seemed to be also a really great conversation on future upcoming meetings and the city working actively with the district to kind of troubleshoot the next couple months on some of the deficit challenges that might be common threads for both the city and the district. Attended the PPIE gala, had a great time. It was really fun. And then echoing Trustee Maher's statement, we have been quite a few facility meetings. And then I believe tomorrow's is on taking a look at the Education Options Center plans for the rebuild for that village space. So things are being very, very busy with the Measure I-1 bond monies and wrapping up with Measure I. So I think that's it.
Trustee Brown?
Oh, Anna right there, is this? Okay, well, anyway, yeah, we got more stuff coming.
All right, so first of all, I was dared and followed through on dressing up for the PMS dance. And as evidence, I texted a picture to the cabinet and the board. Okay, that can be your going away gift at the next meeting. Yeah, so as Trustee Mukashi said, we had a city liaison meeting. A number of obviously they dropped a number of $3 million as what they considered to be the net total of what they were funding between SRO, crosswalk, overtime for police officers to attend games and so on and so forth. I have not seen that in writing as to what all they were including in that. So we certainly talked about potentially increasing collaboration, and we also spent some time talking about communication, right? So as an example, if a decision was made as a hypothetical to decrease the number of crossings, make sure we have a joint communication about that. Sorry, I'm just trying to flip through. Went to the Halloween parade at Hearst Elementary. That was always fun watching the young kids go around there. Attended the PPIE dinner. That was a lot of fun. Very well done. And I think they raised a record amount of money that night as well. So thank you to all the parents as well as the principals and teachers that showed up to make that event successful. completed another CSBA class, and yeah, I think that's it for me.
So I went to the Staff Development Day, and I loved going to the meeting on explicit instruction, and I was actually using it when I was subbing today. So they did a great job. They had a lot of practical examples, and I was really impressed with the staff development. I also went to the band review on October 26th, and it was amazing. I went to the breakfast at 6:30 in the morning, and the Foothill Band was amazing on Main Street, and then I saw the floor shows, and Foothill and Amador did a spectacular job. I was very, very proud of them. I saw the road show yesterday at PTA at Donlin. You did a great job. And then we went to a curriculum meeting. My only request is I'd like you to, again, follow through on what we asked about the Harvest Park, what's going on, about those traffic questions that I asked. And then I'm wondering about the fire alarms. Why do they keep going off? Yeah, if you could follow up, just let us. Yeah, if you could just let us know in the communique. But okay, our next meeting is December 12th. This meeting is adjourned, 8:52.